You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, yo, yo. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Good, great, grand morning to y'all, man. We got Al Booger in the building. I see you, brother. Y'all know what time it is. The doctor's in the house. Yep. Yes, sir. We got Al Booger in the building. What's good, brethren? Got some things to talk about this morning. Don't forget to smack that like button on your way in. You feel me? Smack that like button on the way in. Let me sip my water. Let's get ready to get it popping, man. First off, let's say our prayers, man. So please join me and bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for these blessings. Thank you for waking us up to see these beautiful days, beautiful Tuesday morning, Lord, and just guide us with a calm head and a calm mind and a calm spirit to move forward in the best way possible, Lord, and not take any of the troubles from yesterday into today. That doesn't mean that we are irresponsible. It just means that we give all of our fears and reservations and our doubts to you, and know that while we can take care of the things that we're supposed to, also there are things that we just can't handle on our own, Lord, and we give those to you and make sure that we do our best and give forth our best effort, but also have the faith that you already know what's best for us, and you already that plan is already underway. So please let us move forward with today and every day thereafter with confidence, faith, and strength, and belief that you have already made the way, whether or not we see it yet. Just give us the faith to keep going. And please, Lord, forgive us for our sins and continue to bless us now and forever. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, man. So let's get right to it. My bad. I keep hitting the mic. Let's get right to it, though, man. So let's bring up the topics for today. You see the main topic, man. You see you got Terence Crawford, man. Terence Crawford saying, that Tank knows who beats him, I don't really think that's saying much. I think a lot of people will run with it. And whether they like Terence Crawford or like Tank or dislike Crawford, they're going to run with it and be like, oh, Gervonta really knows who beats him. Bud's telling the truth, or Bud don't know what he's talking about, and he don't know nothing who beats him. I think it's somewhere in the middle. But I think it's obvious too, right? But it's obvious who he's talking about. But is it true? That's the question. We're going to talk about that a little later. I don't think it's true. I'm going to tell you right now. But before we do get into that part, I want to talk about Hitchins and Teofimo, man. Let's bring up the topics real quick. Let's bring up the topics for today. Right here at the bottom of the screen. So first off, I want to start off with the top middle, man. Hitchins and Teofimo. That fight may be in jeopardy. And I know it sounds funny because it's like, oh, it's in jeopardy. Well, if Teofimo's involved, the fight is always in jeopardy. I don't believe that Teofimo is going to fight anybody until I see him in the ring. Last time he was talking about fighting Super Matias, he gave us Jermaine Ortiz. Then he was talking about having a big fight after that to bounce back. He gave us Steve Claggett. And I was okay with Steve Claggett because I saw it as a bounce back. Even though he won against Jermaine Ortiz, he looked shitty. That fight was terrible. I was so mad at that fight. And that was actually on my birthday, too, 2024. That fight was terrible.
Know your fucking place, trash.
And, and he was 50% of that, right? Of course, Jermaine Ortiz, he tried to finesse the game of boxing. His style that he implemented was trash too. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to be on his bicycle. And I don't know if he was boxing or Lance Armstrong with the Tour de France. I don't know what he was doing, but it was garbage. And so I thought that the right person won with Teofimo because I feel like out of the two people in there, only one of them wanted to fight, and that's Teofimo. He's the one that wanted to engage. And I feel like if you're in a fight, you have to want to engage. And Jermaine Ortiz didn't want to do that. But it did expose Teofimo for his lack of boxing ability. His boxing acumen is terrible, right? He doesn't know how to cut off the ring. He doesn't know how to use a jab effectively, and he doesn't know how to apply appropriate pressure or effective pressure. So I thought that they both got exposed. I think Jermaine Ortiz exposed the fact that he didn't really want to fight. And then Teofimo exposed the fact that he didn't really know how to fight. As somebody who is self-proclaimed takeover, you couldn't take over a ring, So I thought that fight was trash. And then he fought Steve Claggett, who put up a very good fight for somebody who was relatively unknown. And he was supposed to showcase his skills and remind us and re-galvanize his fan base that he was one of the best, right? And he didn't do that, right? He struggled against Steve Claggett, who's, no disrespect, but he's pretty pedestrian. So now fast forward, Teo hasn't fought since Steve Claggett. And a lot of people have been calling him out in the interim, right? You had Jack Catterall, who just lost to Barbosa. You had Barbosa, who's been the #1 ranked opponent for the WBO for the longest. And now he just beat Catterall, so he's an interim champ. Meaning if Teofimo doesn't fight him again, because he's been avoiding him. If he continues to not fight him, he will be stripped, and Barbosa will be elevated, to fill that void that was vacated by Teofimo if he doesn't fight him. We had Rayo call him out, who's a new champion at 140, and we had Richardson Hitchins call him out, among others. But we're gonna stick in the people that are in his division. Of course, Super Matias as well. But Richardson Hitchins has called him out, who just beat Liam Paul, right? So he wants a unification. And Richardson Hitchins is from New York, just like Teofimo's from New York. So it'll be an all New York showdown. That's how they kicked it as, right? Him and Eddie Hearn. Well, in comes Big Turk and his plans, flirting with Alcatraz. And then here comes Teofimo, right? Saying that he wants the fight in Alcatraz. Alcatraz, those of you unfamiliar with it, it's a former jail in California. And Richardson Hitchins, who I agree with 1,000%, he said, hey man, nah, I don't want the fight in Alcatraz. He said, no, I want the fight in New York. I'm from New York. He's from New York. This is a fight that belongs in New York. And that's just common sense. So I don't even know why they're even exploring anywhere else. And then not to mention Teofimo's with Top Rank. Top Rank is notorious for having fights in New York. They just had a fight in New York. Sandy Ryan and Michaela Mayer was also in New York. And part 2 is going to be in New York again. So I don't even know why that's being explored outside of the fact that Big Turk said he wants a fight in Alcatraz. It doesn't have to be that fight, first of all, number one. And number 2, just because he wants that fight doesn't mean that every fight is appropriate to go there, you know? So I think that, I think this is an unnecessary conflict. But if I was Richardson Hitchins, I'd stick to my guns and I'd be like, nah, bro, I'm gonna stay in New York, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that that fight, the most appropriate location is New York. Now, it doesn't really matter, of course not, you know, as far as who's gonna watch it unless you're attending the fight. If you're watching from the comfort of your own home, it doesn't matter where it's at. You can watch it anywhere. But I'm just saying, for the ambiance and for, I would say, the interest, you know, it's a hometown fight. You don't want to take that away from wherever they're from. 2 fighters from, it don't matter if they're from New York or Cali or Florida or wherever, you know, they could be from Jamaica or Japan. It doesn't matter. Like, when you have 2 hometown fighters, it's most appropriate to have it as close to the hometown as possible, because that'll galvanize, you know, and strengthen the boxing scene in that area. So New York already has a booming boxing scene. That'll explode it even more. And that goes back to my point yesterday about the Ukrainians fighting. I don't think that 2 people being from the same country, no matter what country you're from, should by default disqualify you from the consideration of even fighting each other. Because people say that I tear the country apart. I disagree. I think that it does the opposite. I think it brings people together, especially if you're having a unification fight. That means, instead of looking at it from a pessimistic point of view that, oh, a Ukrainian is going to lose, no, you look at it as a Ukrainian is going to win. Because if they're both Ukrainian, that means somebody's going to be a champion. That's Ukrainian. You know, and same with this right here. Like, if you fight in New York, that means a New Yorker is going to win. And so even if it divides, you're gonna build a bond of unity, because it's like, okay, it's still us. So you can't be too mad at the winner or the loser. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I never understood that. But anyway, yeah, I think that this fight is most appropriate to be in New York. And I don't think it's gonna, well, I don't think it's gonna happen, because I don't trust Teofimo. Like I said, I won't believe a fight that he's in until it happens. But this is just a roadblock, a preliminary roadblock. Do I think that this will actually stop the fight from coming into fruition? No, I don't think it's going to stop it. But should it? Could it? Yeah, I think it could. Because if I'm Richardson Hitchins, I would not want to fight. And like, not only is it not in New York, they're saying go to the opposite coast. It's not like they're saying, oh, okay, we won't have it in New York, let's go to Jersey, or we won't have it in New York, let's go to Atlanta or Miami or something. They're talking about not having it in New York and not have it anywhere even close to the east or the south, or they talk about go all the way to the west. You know, the opposite end of the country is crazy. Go from New York to Cali. So I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a cool idea to have a fight at Alcatraz, but I think that this would be poor timing. And a bad placement for this one in particular, man. So that's just my opinion on that. I think that Richardson Hitchins versus Teofimo, if it happens, which I doubt it happens, but if it does happen, I think it belongs in New York, man. I definitely do, man. It just makes sense, you know. Just sometimes the answers are easy, man. Just don't deviate from the plan. You feel me? We got Dub in the building, big member in the building. Yo, we got Dooley in the building. What's good? God bless you, brother. Yes, sir. What's good, Dub? Big Dub in the big Dub. We got Oscar in the building. Big Oscar in the building. But yeah, like I said, it's not that. I just doubt that any fight with Teofimo's gonna come into fruition, because this man has been, he's like the Tay-Rock of boxing. I don't know if y'all watch battle rap, but Tay-Rock, they say that he's the king of almost fighting. All he does is almost fight. He never comes to blows. That's why I feel like Teofimo is. He called out Terence Crawford, no fight. Called out Gervonta Davis, no fight. Called out Brian Norman, no fight. Called out Richardson Hitchins. Haven't seen the fight yet. Said he's willing to fight Jack Catterall, no fight. Said he's willing to fight Arnold Barbosa. He's been number 1 for like 2 years, no fight. You know what I'm saying? So he said he wants to fight Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia suspended, no fight. He said he wants to fight Devin Haney, no fight. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. So. But yes, sir. I think that I don't think that fight's gonna happen. I think what's gonna happen is that, well, I'm not gonna say the fight's not gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm hoping it happens, because I would love to see Richard Hitchins versus Teofimo. But do I think that Hitchins? I'm not sure when it's going to happen, because we'll see. I don't know how the litigation situation is going with Teo and Top Rank and Bob Arum. I know that Teo has a preliminary 3-fight plan with Big Turk. We'll see how that comes into fruition, how that goes about and plays out. But it's like, I don't know who he's going to fight. Do I think he's going to fight Arnold Barbosa? No, I think he's going to vacate, and I think that Barbosa is going to be elevated to a full champion. That's just my personal opinion, but we'll see, man. He got my boy Clone said, nah, chill on Tay-Rock. At least he a GOAT. That's true. That's true. Shout out to my boy Clone, big member in the building. Teo been bobbing over the division for a minute. That's a fact. We got Ryan Frazier, boxing talk up north, man. Go check out my boy Big North in the building. Yes, sir. Apollo, what's good? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. But yeah, I think that like I said, I hope the fight happens. If the fight does happen, Hitchins versus Teo, I got Hitchins. But we'll see though, man. Like I said, I have to be, it's going to take more than talking to convince me that he's going to fight, man. So, because I haven't seen him fight yet, but I am interested. As much as I don't like Teo, I think, he's been saying he's been playing around with things I don't believe you play with. I don't think racism is a game. I don't think race baiting is a game. I think he should get the shit slapped out of him. And I would love to do it personally, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? So, if I could, But yeah, I think it has went beyond trolling, and I don't like him at all. However, with that being said, I can't take away that he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. Is he a great fighter? I don't think he's great, but I do think he's good. I slightly think he's overrated, but I think he has the tools to be great. He has the reflexes, he has the power, he has a raw talent. He just doesn't have the mental capacity to be great, in my opinion, which is evident of his ignorance. But he consistently and constantly spews. So, but I think he's the best champion at 140. If you ask me who's the best champion at 140, I have to go to Teofimo, because I'm a fan of longevity. I'm a fan of proving yourself, and I'm not a fan of like the new hot thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the new hotness or whatever they call it. But I do think Richardson Hitchins has the ability to beat him, and I'd be rooting for him. But objectively speaking, if you ask me who was the best at 140, the best champion, I got to go with Teofimo, because he's been there the longest, been the champion the longest, and we've seen a lot of champions' reigns happen, boom, and then be cut short. Rayo Valenzuela just got the championship from Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Isaac Pitbull Cruz just got the championship from Rolly Romero. Liam Paro just got the championship from Super Matias. Richardson Hitchins just got the championship from Liam Paro. You know what I'm saying? So there's been a lot of Alberto Puello inherited the championship from Devin Haney. So he's been the only one that's been solid, but that's not indicative of him fighting all the tough competition. It's just indicative of him being on top rank and being in a fortuitous situation to where he's able to fight lesser competition. Like everybody I just named, those are pretty good competitors. You know what I'm saying? Rayo and Isaac Pitbull Cruz, that's a great fight. Liam Paro and Super Matias, that was an upset. Richardson Hitchins and Liam Paro was a great fight. So, shout out to Liam Paro for fighting mandatory. So we'll see how that goes, man. But yeah, let's move on to the next topic. Yes, sir. That's the first one right there. That's the top middle. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. And that next topic is Floyd Schofield, man. I think, we got pugilism. What's good, bro? He said, boxing is a crazy sport. It is. He said you could be bought out without knowing it. Teo can't enter a fight expecting the same promotional push and commercial plugs that he had when he was with Mr. Fortnite. That's true. He's out there doing the TikTok dances. That's true. Warden family, how you, man? I'm doing good, Clone. How are you, man? Teo owes a squabble against Keyshawn when Key moves up. But yeah, I think that I think Teofimo, we'll see what he does, man. I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't believe him. I hope to me the best route would be against Richardson Hitchins and a New York showdown, man. But yeah, let's move on to Floyd Kid Austin Schofield, man. Floyd Kid Austin Schofield. This is one of the fights on Riyadh this weekend. Good Lord willing, that is. I think it's going under the radar. There's 2 fights that are going under. Well, I ain't gonna lie. There's probably like 3 fights that are going under the radar. There might be like 4. This card is so great that there's probably 4 fights that are going under the radar. Of course, the ones that's not going under the radar is the rematch, right? We all want to see Beterbiev Bivol. It's the main event, as it should be. We all want to see Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker. But nobody's really paying attention to Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi. They're probably the least 2 popular, but it's still a good fight. I think that would headline in England. It might headline other places too, but definitely headline in England, headline worthy. Another fight that's going under the radar is Zhale Zhang and Najit Kabayel. I think that's because they're the lesser of the 2 heavyweights that are fighting, right? Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker's a bigger fight, championship fight. Zhang and Edgy Caballero is like an afterthought, but it's still pretty noticeable. Hamza Shiraz and Carlos Adames is definitely going under the radar. Should I say Carlos Adames is a champion, so say his name first. Carlos Adames versus Hamza Shiraz, that's going under the radar too. You know, they're not too popular. You know, you could argue that Hamza Shiraz is more known than the actual champion, Carlos Adames. But to me, the other fight that's going under the radar is Shakur Stevenson and Floyd Kid Austin Schofield, because people aren't really looking at Kid Austin to do the job. And man, I think that I watched like 3 interviews with Floyd Kid Austin Schofield yesterday, man. And Kid Austin, to me, he's saying all the right things, man. You know, he's saying, I'm going to break your face with Shakur. Is he going to do it? We'll see, you know, but he's saying, I'm going to break your face. He's saying he admitted that he's a fan of Shakur, which is a demonstration of humility, right? Everybody loves the humble fighter, right? He admits to being a fan of Shakur back in the day, and he just says that he's not going to get caught up in the nonsense. He said that, you know, he had a run-in with Shakur, and Shakur, like, flicked him off or something like that. And he said he just made a silly face, stuck his tongue out or something like that. When he said he stuck his tongue out, I said, hold on.
What?
Yeah, when he said he stuck his tongue out, he said it like 3 times too. I was like, huh? Put your tongue in your mouth, man.
What do you mean by that?
Put your tongue in your mouth, man. Tuck your tongue in, man. But anyway, I think he's saying all the right things. I think he's doing the right things. You know, first off, he took the fight. Well, he pursued the fight. Then shout out to Shakur for taking the fight. But he's a young bull. I think he's 22 years old. You know, he's just saying, hey, I'm fighting for my son. You know, I'm gonna give it all I got. I'm gonna break something on him. And he's like, yeah, I have nothing to lose, because if he loses, he's supposed to lose, right? Because he's a prospect contender coming up that's fighting a guy that's world class that he shouldn't be fighting so early, right? That's what people are saying. That's the narrative that's being pushed, and I do agree. I do think it's a little early for him, but I love the fact that he stepped up to the plate. Do I think he can handle it? I actually think he's going to lose. I think Shakur's going to win, but like I said, I like it because he is young and he could bounce back from an L. I think they both could bounce back from an L, you know, but I definitely think it'll be harder for Shakur because his image is predicated off of being undefeated and being avoided by, you know, Tank, you know, or being the most avoided, not just by Gervonta, but being avoided by the majority of the division, which is true, right? Because Lomachenko didn't want to fight him. Who was the other guy? Isaac Pitbull Cruz turned him down. Zepeda called him out, and when Shakur obliged, he didn't want to fight him. So I have to agree that Shakur is probably the boogeyman of 135. And then why people want to fight Gervonta, I think Gervonta would be the boogeyman as far as skills and stuff like that go, but he's not, because he's the money man. So when you're the money man, you're not really the boogeyman, because people want to take that risk to get that bread. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Shakur is a boogeyman. I think that's a rightful. He's one of the few fighters that actually deserve that title as a boogeyman, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? He is a good fighter, but that's why I salute Kid Austin, because Kid Austin said, hey man, I'm willing to fight that, man. I want my title shot. And that's why I salute Shakur, because Shakur could have fought somebody else. You know, he doesn't have to fight Kid Austin. He took that challenge and he's like, yeah man, I'm put belt to ass on this young man. So we'll see how it goes, man. But like I said, I love what Kid Austin's saying. He's not jumping off the cliff. He's not disrespecting Shakur. He's just saying, hey man, I'm coming to do what I got to do, and I'm going to shock the world. And I'm not just doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my son. You know what I'm saying? He said, I want to show my son that you can do anything. And where we coming from is the trenches. So we trying to get out that thing. So I love everything he's saying, man. And he's not for the nonsense. Now, like I said, I will reiterate, do I think he wins? No, I don't think he wins, but I'm definitely interested. I think that he's going to give it. I've always said this, so I think it's going to be a better fight than a lot of people anticipate, and I'll just be happy with a great effort, man, because he's an energy guy, a strong guy, a come forward guy, and he's an effort guy. So if he doesn't give the effort, which I think will force Shakur to show us a different wrinkle of his game, then I'll be disappointed if he doesn't go full Monty, you know what I'm saying, and try to take him out. Or maybe I'll just be so impressed that Shakur didn't allow him to get in his bag and get in his game plan. But the way that him and his father have been talking before about like sparring stories and stuff, which I don't put too much, I don't pay too much attention to, you know, as far as it's just interesting to hear to build up the fight. I don't think it's important or as if it's going to show who's going to win. But like I will say that he does, the way they've been talking, we got to see maximum effort. And I think if he shows maximum effort, then I think it will be a good fight. Until it's not. I don't think it's going to be a stoppage. I think Shakur's going to win by decision. But if Kid Austin could get to him and hurt him, man, boy. But, you know, that comes with the mind games, right? It comes with the mind games. And we got to, I want to talk about that, right? So there's been some mind games in Kid Austin's camp, right? He said, low key, think he's going to pressure Shakur. We got to see if his powers are. Yes, that's what I want to see too. Shakur hands that bad, or is it just an algorithm interfering with my studies? I don't think his hands are that bad, man. People are expected to watch, right? If the fight turns competitive for the half, the fight kid, he said for half the fight, the kid Austin's profile is going to go up. I agree. On the other hand, Shakur will go down with haters saying he ain't all that. Facts. Floyd Schofield Jr. is TBE in spar. Yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact. Kid Austin is the best ever in sport. That's a sparring king, bro. He's a sparring king, bro. Undefeated. You feel me? That man, bro. They did. I would like. This goes back to me, saying that he's demonstrating and exhibiting some humility, right? Because they did say that Shakur hit him with a body shot and he couldn't go no more. They did say that. So shout out to them. You know, I think they're saying all the right things, doing all the right things as far as right now. You know, but before that, you know, they had some distractions going on in the camp, and some things going on in the camp, and you know, and now they're talking about there might be a mole in Shakur's camp. So, or before that, you know, but I think that he could I'm not gonna say he could win the fight before the fight, but he could kind of help himself out going into the fight, and I think that's what he's doing, man, with these mind games, right? So that's why I put the brain over there, because they're saying that they're doing mind games, but is it really mind games, or is it distractions in the camp with the father, with the passports, etc., right? So they had an issue in their camp where I guess he had some trouble with his passport. Remember, that's why he didn't make it to London, that first press conference. And Shakur had people wondering, oh, he's going to cancel the fight because he's scared. But was there an issue with his passport? Well, then they also blamed it on Shakur potentially having somebody in the camp. But then Kid also has addressed it. He's like, nah, man, you know, I don't know if it was Shakur or them. You know, it was just some people on the inside that we work with, we have a relationship with, that didn't have our best interest. He said he's not saying that it's Shakur sabotaging necessarily, but that he also said that, you know, he's not going to eliminate all the possibilities, right? But then he also said that he's trolling too. He's like, you know, he said that they had a mole in Shakur's camp, and he's just like, yeah, man, we're just trolling, we're just playing along with what Shakur does. He said all Shakur does is talk trash on the internet and troll. So he said, hey, I'm just getting them back. He said, but I'm unbothered by it, but it seems like he's bothered by it. And if that is true, that Shakur is being bothered by it, which I don't really see any signs of him being bothered, but if he is being bothered of it, I think that he can have a mental edge going in, because like he said, I do agree with, there's pressure. It's boxing, right? If you lose, that can be detrimental to your career. You know, for a lot of guys, it is once you lose and people just throw you away. So the pressure is always on for everybody involved in the fight. However, there is more pressure for Shakur, and if these mind games are actually working, then that's just something else he has to account for. You know what I'm saying? And Kid Hawks is going in there essentially pressure free. He just wants to make sure that he's focused on his job and not worried about, oh, if I do this, or not subconscious about anything. You know what I'm saying? That's a good way to be. It's like a freedom. However, you know, with his father having the issues that he's having, and with they having the issue with the passport, these are things that take away time from your workout, and anything that's on your mind is a distraction. Whether it's a necessary distraction or unnecessary distraction, it's still a distraction at the end of the day. So when you have a passport issue and you can't make it to London, then that's something else you got to take care of, and it might take away from your other training, or you dedicating your time to something else, you're studying of Shakur or whatever. Not only that, when you have your father getting into some things domestically, then that's also a distraction. You know what I'm saying? And then not to mention, not just that, when you have people in your camp that you think are sabotaging your stuff, or that you can't trust them, then you got to weed them out, and then that's another stress that'll just get to you. You know, so I don't know. It's a tough sell to me. I feel like it's more distractions and mind games. But if he's also focused, and it could be, look how we just saw. I hate to bring this up because, you know what I'm saying, Ryan Garcia is a cheater, and you shouldn't celebrate no cheater in no way, shape, form, or fashion. But remember how the cheater did.
We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all.
If you remember what the cheater did when it came to Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, right? He had Devin Haney thinking that he wasn't serious. Remember Devin Haney, which was very stupid. You know, I don't even get why. I even said that during the press conference when Devin Haney, or it was an interview, and Ryan Garcia was like beatboxing or something, and Devin Haney was like, oh, he's not taking it seriously. Why do you even care? It shouldn't even bother you. What does that got to do with you? You should make sure you're the best you. You should even hope that he's not taking it seriously, but that don't mean you slow down with your training. That don't mean that you train like somebody's not taking it seriously. And that's why Floyd is the GOAT, and that's why Clarissa's the GOAT, and that's why the GOAT, excuse me, and that's why Pacquiao's the GOAT. That's why Canelo's the GOAT. You never hear them talking about, as much as people talk about their lackluster opponents here and there, you never hear them say, oh, they're not taking it seriously. Oh, Floyd Mayweather, it doesn't matter if Floyd Mayweather's fighting Canelo, Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, Robert the Ghost Guerrero, or Conor McGregor. He's taking it seriously. When it comes to training himself, you know what I'm saying, and focusing himself. When it comes to Canelo, it doesn't matter if he's fighting Triple G or he's fighting a guy that we think is unworthy like Edgar Berlanga. He's going in as the best version of himself. Same with Clarissa Shields, whether she's fighting somebody you know in Savannah Marshall or somebody you don't know in Vanessa LePage or Danielle Perkins. She's going in as best form as she can. Manny Pacquiao, it doesn't matter if he's getting knocked out by by Juan Manuel Marquez or he's getting knocked out by the two guys in the Philippines. I don't think he's ever not taking this seriously. The reason why I said knocked out because I just watched Juan Manuel Marquez the fourth fight where he knocked out Pacquiao. Shout out to Pacquiao, but Pacquiao's always taking it seriously too. That's my point. You know, so now can Shakur fall into that trap? Because Shakur said, oh, you know, he's thinking about canceling the fight. Now Shakur could be trolling, or Shakur could really think in his mind that Floyd Kid Austin Schofield wasn't going to go through with the fight. And if you're thinking that, then you might slow down with your training, kind of like Devin Haney may have been thinking, hey, man, you know, Ryan Garcia may not be taking the fight seriously, so I might not have to run an extra mile because he's not even going to show up. And that's what maybe, and that could be something that's detrimental to Shakur as well. So if Kid Austin is actually doing his best and letting all this information out, regardless in regards to his father's issues, his inner circle issues, his passport issues, if he's doing all this just to make it seem like he's distracted and he's really locked in, then we could see something, man. So there's a whole lot of possibilities, man. We'll see if it's more mind games or distractions. I personally think it's more realistic to be distractions than him playing mind games, but it could be mind games, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out this weekend, you know, imminently, man. But at the end of the day, when it comes to Floyd Kid Austin Schofield and the whole situation with Shakur, shout out to Shakur versus Kid Austin. I got Shakur winning, but I think Kid Austin, like my boy Oscar said, man, I think if all Kid Austin has to do is just show good effort, like he is, he's an effort guy, and I think his stock will rise, even if he just gives Shakur a good fight, to where he doesn't get blown out, and it's not like an Edwin De Los Santos, like, which I don't think. I think Kid Austin has some fervor that he's going to fight with and some intensity that he's not going to go out like Edwin De Los Santos. And I think it'll be like an Isaac Pitbull Cruz type of deal, where Isaac Pitbull Cruz basically had his profile boosted because he didn't get knocked out by Gervonta Davis. So I think Kid Austin, as long as he doesn't get washed by Shakur, I think his profile will rise. And I think that whether he wins or loses doesn't really matter, as long as he puts forth a good fight. And I think that he will do that. So we'll see. But I have Shakur winning that fight, man. That's just my opinion on that, man. And then next up, I want to talk about is Bivol, man. Speaking of seeing people talking and watching interviews, I've been watching some Bivol interviews, man. I just hope it's a great fight. Either way, Kid Austin got everything to win. I agree, Oscar, 1,000%. He has everything to win. And I don't want to say, like I said, I don't want to say he has nothing to lose, but he has way more to win than to lose, because people expect him to lose, and he's a young guy. He could bounce back. But Bivol, man, watching some Bivol interviews, bro. Bro, shout out to Bivol, man. Bivol is the epitome of saying everything right, man. A great mindset. I'm rooting for Bivol, man. I like Beterbiev and I like Bivol, but I'm rooting for Bivol in this rematch because I want a trilogy. So I'm selfishly rooting for Bivol, but also I'm rooting for Bivol because I just want him to win, man. He just seems like such a likable person, you know what I'm saying? And so is Beterbiev for me, because Beterbiev also, he just be chilling. He just seems like hey man, he's like an assassin or like a Terminator. Hey man, he's like Marshawn Lynch, right? I'm just here so I don't get fined. You know what I'm saying? He just wants to do what he does best, and that's beat on folks. So I don't have anything against Beterbiev, but since Beterbiev won the first one, I want Bivol to win the second one, man, and get his revenge and vindication. And you know, I just really want him to win. But he says all the right things. But I was just watching his interviews, man, and is it me, or does his face look a little tenderoni? Bro, his face look a little tenderoni, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, especially under like his left jawbone or cheek, and especially like under his like left eye. Was it left eye? I think it was left eye. Yeah, I think it both of his eyes, but I think particularly his left eye looked a little tender, and I don't think that's really too bad, especially under your eye. At least it's under your eye, not over your eye. But I think that Beterbiev is possibly, yeah, frankly, yeah, I think not even possibly. I think he's definitively the worst person you want to go into a fight with injuries prior to. You know, I don't think you want to go in there with pre-existing injuries against Beterbiev, right? Because he already gonna break you. You know, he's already trying to break you and bash you. And if you going in there a little tender, oh man, you know, and especially in the face too. And you know, they both look pretty damaged, you know, in the fight. I think it was very much so underrated how Bivol had Beterbiev looking. We all focused on Bivol, how he looked. He looked damaged too. But to me, Beterbiev looked, I ain't gonna say equally as damaged, but yeah, I'll say almost equally as damaged, you know. But you could tell from just by looking at him, you can tell that Bivol is a little more prone to visible damage than Beterbiev. But you know, Beterbiev has a lot of pre-existing injuries too. But he's been talking about his knee. He said his knee feels great. His knee feels better than what it did in the first fight. You know, his body feels a lot better. Bivol, he said that he feels good too. But to me, and I can't see, I don't have x-ray vision, I can't see Beterbiev's knee and stuff like that. He could be capping a little bit too. But Bivol, to me, like just his face, man, maybe he's been going through some hard sparring. He's been talking about getting this revenge, and I think that's always great, right? He said, man, he said, I want the belts, of course. But he's like, I'm more focused on getting revenge than I am acquiring the belts. And I think that's always a good sign. But if you go in there with revenge on your mind and you maybe stand in that pain a little bit too long, like he did a couple times in the first fight, I think it could be detrimental to his success, and it could lead to Beterbiev knocking him out potentially, man. Especially if he goes in there with his face already tender. But I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I'm really rooting for Bivol. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize I was rooting for Bivol so much until I've been watching these face-offs. I watched a little interview with I don't remember what platform it was, but they watched the fight. They rewatched the first fight with Bivol and Beterbiev both present, and that was kind of interesting. I could tell it's probably uncomfortable for both of them, but Beterbiev looked a little more comfortable than Bivol, and he should. He's the winner, right? So I think he's going in with the edge. Of course, the winner's always going in with the edge in the rematch, but I think Bivol still has a pretty good chance, man, because his edge is that he lost, and he's gonna work even harder to get that win back. But Beterbiev, he just doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to take any breaks. So I feel like Beterbiev is always working out with max effort. And I think Bivol is too, but Beterbiev, I know, is working out with max effort all the time. And I really believe that he wants to get the stoppage, man. And that could be bad for him too. You know, if he sells out for the stoppage, like I said, Bivol was punching on Beterbiev, man. So let's not forget that. So I don't know, man. I think it's a good fight. I'm rooting for Bivol, but man, I kind of feel like Beterbiev, unfortunately, man, I think Beterbiev might take this one even more convincingly than the first one. Bivol mostly stuck in the first, and fight one is dangerous. Yes, bro, it is. It is very dangerous. I agree, Dub. Wow, they rewatched the whole fight together. Yeah, but go check it out. I don't remember what platform it was on. I want to say, don't quote me. I want to say it was Sky Sports or TNT Sports. Don't quote me, bro. But it was definitely an English broadcast. It was either Sky or TNT, I think, or TNT or TYT, something like that. But yeah, they watched it together, and it was like I said, it was kind of uncomfortable. but Beterbiev seemed a little more relaxed, you know. So yeah, go check it out if you're interested, man. I thought it was pretty good, but you know, I like stuff like that, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm going for Bivol even more than before. Like going into the first fight, I didn't really care who won, but I did have Bivol winning the first fight, 7-5. But I thought I was cool with Beterbiev winning too, because he fought a great fight as well. You know, I thought it was a very close fight. Could have went either way. I personally had Bivol edging it out, but I don't think it was a robbery by any means. But this time, man, I think it's going to be a more definitive winner. I'm hoping it's Bivol, but man, I'm thinking it might be Beterbiev. But we'll see, man. So that's it for that. For the Bivol, man. And like I said, man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all watch these interviews with Bivol. If he looks a little tenderoni in the face to you, man, to me he looks a little like he was going through some hard sparring, which is good and bad. You know, it's good because then it shows that he really wants it, you know. And I think that that's the good side of being emotionally stuck in the first fight. It means that you're driven even harder. But the bad part is that you may bring forth your own demise because you may be going too hard. Because there is a such thing as overworking, and you know, he could have been sparring too hard, and now he's going into the second fight a little battered and bruised. Now this is all hypothetical. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what I observe and what I see. And it's like that's a possibility. So that's the bad part if you're stuck in emotionally in the first fight, is that you may not do the things, you might act out of character in a bad way and not a good way. So we'll see how it goes, man. But I think Bivol is a very disciplined, stoic, dedicated person, just like Beterbiev. That's why these fights are so good. So we'll see how it goes, man. Now I want to move forward to the main topic, man. The main topic here is Bud and Gervonta Tank Davis, man. Bud and Gervonta Tank Davis, bro. Like this is the main course here. They're having the main in the main thumbnail, and that's why I got the Tank there, man. It's Tank. You know, a lot of people are protected by a Tank, and a lot of people are threatened by a Tank, right? So I think when you are a Tank, hypothetically speaking, metaphorically speaking, you are a big target, obviously, because they think if they could knock you down, then they could get to whatever it is that you're ahead of, in this case PBC, and bring forth their demise in a quicker, more effective fashion, right? Now with Tank, you know, when you are a Tank, though, you have some vulnerabilities too, and people want to expose those. You know, it's not just all fun. It's not just a immovable object or impregnable fortress. You know, you can't get to it. It does have some weak spots, and it seems like Terence Crawford is poking some of them weak spots. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like they're both going at it. You know, and I think it's fun. I think it gets a little carried away, a little out of bounds. Yeah, I thought that Tank saying something about his wife was out of bounds, and I think if Terence Crawford slapped the shit out of him, I think that he deserves it. He should, you know, because that's his wife. But hopefully it doesn't go there. But if it did, then I think it's warranted. However, I don't agree with what Bud said as far as Tank knows who beats him and where his first L comes from. But first of all, before we get to that, Tank, I saw this post. It was an interview with Cigar Talk. I didn't watch the whole thing, but a part of it, Terence Crawford was talking about being Canelo. And he said if he beats Canelo, he's an all-time great. And, you know, people love, especially when it's a black fighter, they love when they demonstrate humility, right? Or I don't even know if they like when people demonstrate humility. They like when they see somebody get humbled, which they like to see somebody get put in their place. That's basically what it means. It means that there's some insecure puss-ass people, and that they want to see people get put in the place of where they're at for the whole duration of their lifetime. They've been in a certain place and they blame other people for them being in that place. No, you just have no nuts and you're insecure about who you are. So you don't have the aspiration or the dedication or even the dreams to put yourself in a position where you want to be. So you take it out on others that are doing what they want to do, and you try to mask it as them not being humble. No, they are humble. It's just that you ain't shit. So you mad. But anyway, let's keep it going with Bud. The whole point of me saying that is because, to me, what Bud said is a testament to his greatness and his humility, right? That's what everybody wants to see, right? He said, if I beat Canelo, I would be an all-time great. Let me say that again. Terence Bud Crawford, who's two-time undisputed, 41 wins and 0 losses, and he just got another championship in his debut at a new weight class against the undefeated champion at 154 in Israel Madrimov. He said if he beats Canelo, he would be an all-time great.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit, 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 bullshit!
Terence Crawford, a.k.a. Budrick, he's already an all-time great. He's been an all-time great since he got his first undisputed at 140. Then when he beat Errol Spence, it heightened his all-time greatness. If Terence Bud Crawford beats Cinnamon, which I don't think he beats Cinnamon, I think he loses. If he beats Cinnamon, he would be in conversation as the greatest, not an all-time great. He'll be in the conversation as the greatest of all time. Those are two different conversations. All-time great, where there's plethora of all-time greats. Not a lot, like everybody's not an all-time great. I'm not minimizing all-time greats, but all-time great is greatness, Hall of Famers, legends, or all that. Conversation of the greatest of all time, all-time greats, greatest of all time. You see how you kind of change those letters up for the acronym ATG and GOAT. You actually add a O. So he would be in the conversation of greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, because Canelo is an all-time great and he's a legend. And beating him as a smaller guy is phenomenal, you know. But the fact that he was humble enough to say that, oh, I would be an all-time great. No, brother, you'll be one of the greatest if you beat Canelo, and you're already an all-time great, just like Usyk's already an all-time great, just like Inoue. It's so funny that people with the same accomplishments, the same accolades, people have no problem saying Usyk's an all-time great. They have no problem saying Inoue's an all-time great, but they hesitate to say Bud is an all-time great because they don't watch boxing and they don't know who he beat. I guarantee you, even when you say some stupid shit like that, I guarantee you, you know more people that Terence Crawford beat than Naoya Inoue. I guarantee you that you know more people that Terence Crawford beat than Alexander Usyk. Usyk, you might be like, no, Doc, I know a lot of people Usyk beat. No, you know a lot of people that Usyk beat recently. You don't know a lot of people that Usyk beat. You could probably only name 2 people that he beat at cruiserweight. And I could give the 2 to you that you know. That's it. You probably only know one. Let's be real. You probably only know one. That's the one that was in the Creed movie. You know what I'm saying? Tony Bellew. You probably don't know the other one, you know. But anyway, he's an all-time great. Usyk is an all-time great. Bud is an all-time great. And now Inoue is an all-time great because why? They both are undisputed, not once, but twice. Artur Beterbiev is already an all-time great. He's undisputed in one weight class. Canelo is undisputed, the first ever undisputed in one weight in super middleweight, 168. He's an all-time great, and that's not going to change with or without Benavidez. He's already a legend. To be honest, Canelo has the best resume in boxing since probably Floyd Mayweather. I don't know who has a better resume than Canelo. Definitely nobody has a better resume right now than Canelo, even with or without the 2 undisputeds. I think from a personnel standpoint, Canelo has been in there with the most champions and the most other Hall of Fame fighters than anybody else currently. I mean, he has 66 fights, 62 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, right? So no one's really touching that, you know. Now, of course, the accolades help springboard you, you know, in things like pound for pound rankings. But in my opinion, Canelo still has the best resume from a individual personnel standpoint. And if you want to add accolades and achievements, which rightfully so, you should, then of course that's when you could get supplanted by Usyk and Inoue. But let's get back to the main part, man. Bud is already all-time great with or without Canelo. If he beats Canelo, which I don't think he does, he goes to greatest of all-time conversation. But with that being said, just because Crawford is an all-time great, and I just told you a lot of his pluses and a lot of his positives, I don't think that he's right about this. He says that Gervonta Tank Davis, you know, trying to expose some of those vulnerabilities I was talking about earlier. He says Gervonta Tank Davis knows who beats him. He said there's not just one, but there's 2 people that beat him. And I emphatically disagree. You know, I think that, first of all, I think that's obvious, right? I think one of the people are obvious. The 2 people that he's talking about is Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis. Shakur Stevenson, yeah, I don't think that's a big statement, right? I think the majority of people on earth that pay attention to boxing, that aren't oblivious to boxing, if you say, oh, if I had to pick one person to beat Gervonta Tank Davis, who would it be? I think a lot of people would pick Shakur Stevenson, right? So there's no shocker in that. And then I think people off the hype of, you know, the recency bias would pick Keyshawn Davis because they're both in the division, right? And if you know that Lomachenko didn't want to fight Tank, you probably won't pick Lomachenko to beat Tank, even though I think Lomachenko could possibly beat Tank too. So I don't think Terence Crawford said anything outrageous. That's number one. Number 2, he's friends with those guys, right? They're in his camp, right? Those like his little homies, his little brothers, if you will. So that's another reason why he said it. That's no shocker. But the part that I disagree with, so I don't disagree with it there, you know, so those are his homies. You're supposed to say that. But the part I disagree, which I know everybody's going to jump on, if you like Terence Crawford, you're going to believe everything he said. If you don't like Terence Crawford, you like Gervonta Tank Davis, you're going to refute everything he says. But I don't think he was out of line. I think that if you're going to pick 2 people to pick Gervonta Tank Davis, it would be Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson. But I don't think the Keyshawn Davis one has any merit. I think the only one that has some merit is Shakur Stevenson, but even that is limited, right? I think Gervonta Davis knocks out, I think Tank knocks out Keyshawn, and I think he stops Shakur as well. But I could see Shakur trying to survive the whole time as well. But if anybody's going to beat him, it'll be Shakur, in my opinion. So I don't think that's out of bounds. However, I don't think there's any reason why I really, I'll say disagree. The reason why I respectfully disagree with Keyshawn is because Keyshawn is a beneficiary of a lot of hype, right? And I'm going to give you an example. I like Keyshawn. I'm not saying he's overhyped. He's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. Skill-wise, right? He looks good. But I think that he's riding high right now, as he should be, because he just beat an undefeated fighter in Denise Berinchyk. But if you look at him, he looked a little small. That's not Keyshawn's fault, but he did look a little small. And Denise Berinchek acquired a vacant championship from beating a smaller guy in Emmanuel Navarrete, whose game plan is predicated off of being more physically imposing than his opponent, and he couldn't do that against Berinchek, you know. But it's still a great win. He beat a former Olympian, a silver medalist, and undefeated fighter in Denise Berinchek. That's a great win. But I think that was the weakest champion in 135, to be fair, right? So that's that win addressed. Then his other win is against Jose Pedraza. Tank beat him years ago, right? He beat the undefeated Jose Pedraza. That was a champion. That's how Tank acquired his first championship. Then his other win was against Gustavo Lemos. Gustavo Lemos, and this is not Keyshawn's fault, but Gustavo Lemos didn't look like he was ready to fight. Like he was just there to get a check, you know, missing weight by 6 pounds. I thought he was doing it I thought he should be suspended, first of all, because he's very undisciplined. But I thought he was doing it to be bigger than Keyshawn, but he was really just doing it because like he was out of shape. And the Gustavo Lemos that Richardson Hitchins fought was more formidable than the Gustavo Lemos that Keyshawn fought, but he still looked spectacular doing it. So it's not Keyshawn Davis's fault. However, you know, the reason why I'm saying he's hyped up from the position, from the people that he fought, you know, and he also fought Miguel Madueno. I thought that was a good fight because Miguel Madueno seemed like he was ready to fight. And he was a tough challenge, not skill wise, but he was just going to give you another look that you may not have seen, like a rough, tough look. But if you look at it from even Miguel Madueno just got stopped by Oscar Duarte. Now, I'm not holding that against Keyshawn because Madueno dedicated a full camp to Keyshawn. So he fought, just like I said before, Pedraza, Tank fought a better version of Pedraza. Well, and Richardson Hitchins fought a better version of Lemos. Well, Keyshawn Davis fought a better version of Madueno than Oscar Duarte did because it was late notice. But he did get stopped for the casual fan. That win over Madueno is not going to age positively, right? So with that, all that being said, you know, those are ways that his opponents are kind of overhyped. But then, not to mention, I was seeing a lot of stuff about Keyshawn Davis saying, oh yeah, well, they compared Keyshawn Davis and Gervonta Davis, and they said, oh, Keyshawn, who's 25 years old, acquired a championship with fewer fights than Gervonta, right? Because they're trying to make a comparison and say that Keyshawn is better than Gervonta was at this point in their careers. But you know what they never show? Chat, please go look at that stat line, right? I'm sure y'all seen it. When they made the comparison, you know, they didn't show their age. So yes, Keyshawn Davis had less fights and more knockouts, and I think he had his opponents had a higher percentage of wins. Gervonta Davis had 2 more fights, I believe it was, but Gervonta Davis was 2 years younger, right? So the reason why I say that's important is because what's more important, you being older with 2 less fights or younger with more fights? Doesn't Abdullah Mason have more fights than Keyshawn Davis? Does that mean that Abdullah Mason is behind? No, because he's younger than Keyshawn Davis, right? So even though he has more fights, that doesn't mean that he's behind Keyshawn Davis. Well, he's younger and he's on a different path, right? Xander Zayas is younger than Keyshawn Davis too, right? He's not a champion, but is he behind? No, he's just on a different path. Brian Norman is a champion. I believe Brian Norman is the same age as Keyshawn Davis. He was a champion faster. He's once again, was Keyshawn Davis behind Brian Norman? No, he's just on a different path. Floyd Kid Austin Schofield is the same age as Xander Zayas. Is Xander Zayas on a slow roll? Is he on a slow stroll because he hasn't fought for a championship yet? And Floyd Kid Austin Schofield is the same age, same amount of fights, same amount of knockouts, and he's getting a championship fight? No, it's just different paths. So you just got to be careful when you're absorbing this information that they put out, because they like to manipulate things and push a narrative, you know, especially from Top Rank, when they compare these star fighters. What I'm saying to you right now is that there's nothing about Keyshawn, even though I like Keyshawn, there's nothing outside of potential that justifies him being a threat for Gervonta Tank Davis right now in my eyes. You know, nothing from his personnel that he's fought. His performances are good and he's doing what he's supposed to do. Do I think Keyshawn and Gervonta would be a great fight? Yeah. But outside of his size, the size being in Keyshawn Davis's favor, outside of maybe how he's being pushed with Top Rank and his I don't want to say hype because he is a good fighter, but his popularity right now, there's nothing really that I could point to that would make me pick Keyshawn over Gervonta. I think Gervonta would stop Keyshawn, especially because they both like to fight. You know, I think Keyshawn gets stopped. Now Shakur, he's the one that has some merit, right? Because his fighting style is you against a boxer puncher, you want to get the pure boxer, right? So that's more conducive with being the opposite of what Tank does, you know, so that stylistically is a good matchup. So I understand where Bud is saying, oh yeah, man, these are two guys that could possibly give you some L's, but Keyshawn is more so, oh, that's my partner, so I believe in him. Shakur, that's more believable, even though I think that Tank stops Shakur as well, because when people question Tank's resume, it's like, okay, that sounds good. You could question his resume. Okay, but tell me the resume of Shakur. So if you're not impressed by Frank Martin, why are you impressed? Are you damn sure ain't impressed by Artem Harutyunyan. I know that for a fact because Frank Martin beat Artem Harutyunyan before Shakur beat him. So if you're not impressed with Tank fighting Frank, there's no way you're impressed by Shakur fighting Artem. I'm just saying. It just doesn't make sense. There's no way. I mean, that's just contradictory, right? So if you're not impressed by Tank beating Jose Pedraza, you're definitely not impressed with Shakur beating Oscar Valdez, not at the time in which they fought him. If you're not impressed with Tank beating Leo Santa Cruz, you're definitely not impressed by Shakur beating Edwin De Los Santos. You see what I'm saying? So when you it's so easy to be negative about one person, but when you try to bring up their contemporaries, you know, and you actually start to break it down, who has a better resume? So if Tank resume is weak, if you want to say that, which I emphatically disagree with, you know, adamantly disagree with, but let's say it is weak. Well, that means that Shakur's resume is trash. That means Keyshawn Davis' resume is trash, because part of the reason why you believe in Keyshawn is because of what he did to Jose Pedraza, the same guy that Tank beat years ago and was the first one to do it. Jose Pedraza got knocked out by Tito Mercado. Before that, he got knocked out by Keyshawn Davis. Before that, he took an L to, I can't remember who it was. And before that, he took an L to, I can't remember who that was. Jose Pedraza is on his 4th loss out of 5 fights. And that 5th one was not a win. That 5th one was a draw. So he's 0, 4, and 1 in his last 5 fights. That's part of the reason why you're excited about Keyshawn. The other guy that he beat was Miguel Madueno. Miguel Madueno came fresh off a pro boxer. He just got knocked out by Oscar Duarte. The other guy that you're impressed was he beat Gustavo Lemos. Richardson Hitchins beat Gustavo Lemos. And he beat a good Gustavo Lemos. Gustavo Lemos didn't look good against Keyshawn. I'm not knocking I think Keyshawn is good. But when you say things like, oh, Gervonta knows who's going to beat him, and you mention Keyshawn, and you say that, oh, Gervonta doesn't have a good resume, well, what merit are we going off of for Keyshawn? Because he just beat Denise Berinchek, who was a champion at 135, yes, but he acquired a championship, a vacant title, from beating a guy in Emmanuel Navarrete that was smaller. Emmanuel Navarrete was coming from 130 to 135. So if you're going to say things like, oh, Gervonta drains his opponents, what the fuck was Berinchek? Berinchek was a guy that was outmatched clearly physically, because he even acquired his championship from a guy that was at 130. But we ignored that though, right? We don't knock Berinchek for getting the title from fighting a guy that's at 130, Emmanuel Navarrete, but we knock Tank for fighting Lamont Roach, who's a champion at 130. You see the contradictory here? I'm not saying that you can't critique it. I don't want to see, I wasn't begging for the Lamont Roach fight, but I recognize it's a good fight because Lamont Roach is skilled. But more importantly, I'm not going to penalize somebody for being great. We only don't like Tank versus Lamont Roach because of Tank's greatness. Because I just gave you an example of Denise Berinchek fighting another champion to acquire a championship at 135. At least Tank is just defending his title. Denise Berinchek got his title from beating a guy that's at 130. That campaign's at 130. So what are we doing, man? So, you know what I'm saying? So let's just be fair with our critiques. My guy, George, what's good, George? We got Green Villain. What's good, brother? All the real ones in the chat. Yes, sir. He said Keyshawn and Gervonta will look similar to Barrios versus Tank. Keyshawn gonna look good until ready to press the gas and get him out of there. I agree. But that's the thing. I want to be very clear too. I'm not saying Keyshawn can't beat Tank. What I'm saying is that it's not off of merit. So when you say things like, oh yeah, Gervonta, no, shout out to Bud. I like Bud. But when you say things like, oh yeah, I know, and Gervonta knows who beats him, it's like based off of what? And in the same conversation, you're saying that Gervonta hasn't fought anybody. Well, tell me who Keyshawn fought. Because one of the main people that gave you confidence in Keyshawn is a person in Jose Pedraza that Tank beat years ago. an undefeated, good version of Jose Pedraza, a champion level of Jose Pedraza. So if you're not impressed by him beating Mario Barrios, who's a current champion right now at 147, 2 weight divisions above, if you're not impressed by him beating Isa Pitbull Cruz, who went on to become a champion, if you're not impressed by undefeated Frank Martin, how can you tell me that Shakur Stevenson beats Gervonta Tank Davis? Because you have nothing to be impressed about. Are you impressed by Jamel Herring? Maybe. Then if you're impressed by Jamel Herring, then you probably should be impressed by Isa Pitbull Cruz or Mario Barrios. I'm just saying. So who on Keyshawn's resume right now? He's young, but who on Keyshawn and Shakur's resume went on and became a champion? Nobody. I can name 2 that did that for Tank. I can't name anybody that did that. I can't name anybody that got better, that got visibly better after they lost to Keyshawn or Shakur. I can name you quite a few people that got better and who I think will be better. I think Frank Martin will also be better too after losing to Tank. So my point is that it's not even necessarily that Gervonta is making them better by losing to him. I'm not saying that. I'm not advocating that. What I'm saying is that the guys that he's beating are good enough to bounce back and still make a dent in the boxing world and still acquire a championship. I'm not saying that, he's pulling a Canelo and Floyd where Canelo got so much better after he beat Floyd. No, what I'm saying is that the guys that he's beating are so good that they can still bounce back and then still be formidable opponents. Like Isa Pitbull Cruz, like Mario Barrios, who got championships. Like a lot of us have good expectations, strong expectations for Frank Martin. That's my point. Who can we say that about Keyshawn Davis? Obviously, we can't say that about Miguel Madueno because he just took a fight on short notice and got stopped. Obviously, we can't say that about Artem Harutyunyan because who's looking for Artem Harutyunyan? Right? Well, so tell me. Nakatalia? Who? You can't tell me. So I think Shakur is a believable one. But when you say you got two people that are that will beat Tank, yeah, Keyshawn is off of potential, not merit. Not merit. Oscar Valdez just got stopped by Navarrete, who got beat by the. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, bro. I don't be capping. Thank you, bro. Thank you. But you're impressed by Oscar Valdez, but you're not impressed by Leo Santa Cruz. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And Tank and Keyshawn 5 years apart, like AB and Tank. Imagine people wanted AB to fight Tank after AB. Yeah, true. Yep. He made Denise look like a pedestrian. He did. That's what I'm giving Keyshawn all the credit for that. Like I said, going into that fight, I wasn't greatly mistaken. I was mistaken because I thought I thought Keyshawn and Berinchyk was going to be a good fight. But Berinchyk going for his first title defense versus Keyshawn, he didn't look like he had it at all. And I got to give Keyshawn all the credit because I thought Keyshawn would win, but I thought Denise versus Keyshawn Davis would be a unanimous decision win for Keyshawn. I thought he would win on all scorecards, but I thought it would go the distance. Keyshawn mowed through him, so I got to give him credit. But at the same time, I have eyes, and I did not recognize. I don't know how I missed it during the weigh-in. I did not recognize on fight night Keyshawn was going to look so much bigger than him. And that's okay because he made the weight. But I was not expecting that. I might have thought a little differently, even though I saw on the weigh-ins. But even Dennis not only looked shorter and smaller, but he also looked thinner too. But still, I thought he was crafty enough to do something. Keyshawn, I don't think Denise Berinchyk is as bad as Keyshawn made him look. So that's a testament to Keyshawn's potential and greatness too. But I thought he would still look better. I think he gives a lot of people problems still. Let me check what Ryan said. Ryan said, Clone said, damn, the Tank fans ran down on P. Now he changed his opinions. You need to back up against the Tank out. What? I ain't changed my opinions on nothing. I don't know what you talking about. You hear what you want to hear. Tank didn't even want that Pedraza fight. He think Floyd set him up. Yeah, facts. Yep. Yeah. So I saw the interview. That's part of the reason why, which I knew that before too. But what I didn't know was the whole thing about I knew about him and Floyd's daughter texting or whatever, but I didn't know about the 8-month layoff thing and he wasn't in fighting shape or something. So yeah, he said him and he still won. So to me, I don't know how you're saying it, Ryan. Maybe you're saying it as a bad thing, but I think that's a good thing because he said that he would have been shelved. See, I didn't know that part. I knew about him not being ready for the fight, but I didn't know about him having how long a layoff he did and the fact that he wasn't planning on coming back at that moment. I didn't know about that. And then the potential threat of him being shelved if he didn't fight Jose Pedraza. And the fact that he still overcame that. Give me a victory like that on Keyshawn's resume. And he's young, right? He shouldn't have it. But when you put up a graphic saying that Keyshawn, because Jose Pedraza was his first belt acquisition, right? That was his first time at a world title fight. So when you put up a graphic saying Keyshawn and Tank and Keyshawn got a title in less fights than Tank, Well, Keyshawn's also 25. I think Tank was 22. So he had 2 more fights, but he had 3 less years of existence, which was more impressive. So it's just like people just manipulate things, man. I don't get it. I'd much rather be younger with more fights than older with less fights. Why is that even a conversation? Don't we all? Wouldn't we all want to be younger with more fights than older with less fights? You want to be Alexander Usyk because of his accomplishments, not because he only has 20 fights and he's 38. You want to be Usyk because he's 2-time undisputed. But if you're talking about a career, the ideal career progression and the ideal trajectory for a path, what you should go on to greatness, you want to take the Abdullah Mason route. I mean, am I tripping, chat? Who the hell wants to be Andy Cruz with 5 fights and be 28 years old, 29 years old? Isn't that the knock on Shushu right now? It's like, yeah, Shushu. That's what, don't they always say that? Oh yeah, Shushu was nice, but he's 29. He's 29 years old. He started boxing late. But now all of a sudden, you know, it's good to have 2 less fights and get a title get a title faster in quantity of fights, but in greater age. They don't show that. They say, oh yeah, he got a title fight. He got his first title when he had less fights than Tank. Yeah, but he was also 3 years older than Tank. I think Tank was 22, maybe 23. Keyshawn's 25. So you can't ignore that either. If you're trying to be, if your intention is to be fair and give a good assessment, you can't ignore that. But if your intention is to be biased, like Top Rank, then you're gonna ignore it. Then he started running around and saying it's not anyone's fault. Facts. So who we gonna see take fight? Keyshawn Shakur ain't done much. No, I didn't say that. See, Ryan, you're not listening, bro. I never said I didn't say don't fight Tank. When have you ever heard me say not to fight Tank? My point was that Terence Bud Crawford said that Tank knows where his L's come from. And he said Keyshawn and Shakur. And I'm saying that that's favoritism saying that. That's not merit. I said the only one of those two that is based off of what they earned is Shakur. But then I said that Terence Crawford went on to say that Gervonta Tank Davis's resume is questionable. And so I said that, okay, my rebuttal is that if his resume is questionable, okay, cool. Then that means Shakur is even more questionable. And Keyshawn Davis's is definitely trash.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Of course I want to see Keyshawn and Gervonta. They're both champions. That's you know I love unifications. I love to see that fight. But when you say that Gervonta knows where his L's come from and it's Keyshawn and Shakur, my point is that only one of those is off of merit. And then if you're gonna say Gervonta Davis's resume is trash, then I mean then that reduces Shakur's merit because Gervonta's resume is better than Shakur's. Am I tripping? 21, Tank was 22 when he 22. Thank you. Yeah, so 22. So I was right. Yeah. So and what's that? And Keyshawn's 25. He said, Al Booker said, Al Booker said, damn.
Damn.
Al Booker said, Shushu 29. Yeah, Shushu like, hold on, let me see. Let me make sure I ain't lying. He at least he's no younger than 28. He's 27. He turns 28 this year. Yeah, Shushu's 27. He turns 28 this year. Yep. I'm gonna say, damn. I mean, it worked for Loma. Talk to him, Oscar. That's true. You're right. But yeah, you're right. Because then, you know, when Clarissa only has 16 fights, we say, oh, she only has 16 fights. But then when Usyk only has 20 fights, we say, oh, that's such a great thing, man. He did all this and he only has 20 fights. But when Clarissa does arguably more than Usyk, Bud, and in a way, we say, oh, it's not real because she only has 16 fights. You see how we pick and choose, bro. We pick and choose. But yeah, back to what my boy Ryan was saying though. No, Ryan, I'm not saying that he shouldn't fight Shakur. I think that's the fight I want. I want Tank and Shakur. But when I'm saying that when people are saying, oh yeah, Tank is scared of Keyshawn, that's as foolish as people saying to me, Keyshawn's scared of Andy Cruz. No, it just doesn't make sense to fight them. It didn't make sense for Keyshawn to fight Andy Cruz. He was going for titles. He was at a higher level as far as career goes. I'm not saying that he's at a higher level skillfully. I think that's a good fight, Keyshawn and Andy Cruz, but Keyshawn would be reaching back to fight Andy Cruz until Andy Cruz is in a mandatory position or a title. So people saying that Gervonta knows who beat him, so he's avoiding Keyshawn. No, Keyshawn's not in his sanctioning body, and he wasn't a champion. Now, it makes sense for them to fight because they're both champions. So I would love for any combination, Loma, Keyshawn, Shakur, Loma, Tank, Keyshawn, Tank, Loma. You know, we're not going to see Keyshawn and Shakur, but I love any combination. Yeah, you know me, man. I ain't no cap in my rap. You know, I ain't going to change up nothing. What's good? Yo, what's good, Kingdom? How you doing, man? God bless you. Wait. So at what age did Dev win Undisputed? Oh, no, Dev was the youngest ever. He's still the youngest male Undisputed. I think he was 23 or 20. I think 23. Don't quote me, though, Ryan. I want to say 23. Oh, Devin is the youngest undisputed male boxer still right now to this day. He's not the youngest undisputed boxer because Gabriela Fedora is. You know, she's the youngest between males and females. She just broke that record where she beat Gabriela Alanis. But when Dev did it, he was the youngest. I think he was 23. I think he was 23 when he won Undisputed. I really hope Keyshawn make the fight look like Morrell versus Benavidez because anything else, people going to have a lot to say. Yeah, I think that, like I said, I'm not knocking Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn's a great fighter. But what I'm saying is emphasis on the think. We're still grading him off of potential because if you're not in, this is my main point, chat. And I want to make sure we don't go too far from this, you know. I'm not talking to anybody in particular or individual. I'm speaking. My main point is that if we're going off of merit and we're saying that these guys are threats to the guy who's at the top or threat to anybody, and we simultaneously say that the guy who's being targeted in Gervonta Davis, we're saying his resume is not good, then what merit do you have to make a statement that Keyshawn will beat Gervonta? Because if you're saying that he's a threat based off what? Because you're not impressed by Gervonta's resume. You just told me that his resume is trash, right? If you go watch the interview, that's what Terence Crawford said. But I like Terence Crawford. Like I said, I think Terence Crawford, like I already bigged him up. Go watch the VOD. I said Terence Crawford was very humble because he said he'd be an all-time great if he beats Canelo. No, he's already an all-time great. He's a phenomenal fighter. That doesn't mean I have to agree with everything he says. I think he was wrong. I understand why he said it because those are his little homies, you know what I'm saying? Shakur and Keyshawn. But if you're going to say that, oh, you know, Gervonta Davis's resume is questionable and he knows those two are going to beat him, well, what are you saying that those two are going to beat him off of besides the fact that they're your homies? Because if Gervonta's resume is questionable, that's fine. I'm not even combating that. What I'm saying is that, okay, his resume is questionable. Well, then Keyshawn Davis's is for sure questionable. And Shakur's is also questionable. Right? I'm talking about that. They got so many questions. They like Pandora's box. You don't know what you're going to get when you open up that thing. I mean, if you're not impressed by Mario Barrios and Leo Santa Cruz and Isa Pitbull Cruz and Hector Garcia and Ryan Garcia and whoever else that he fought, and Jose Pedraza, you can't tell me that Keyshawn Davis, when Keyshawn Davis beats Jose Pedraza 6 years later, 4 losses later, that you're impressed by that. You just told me that you weren't impressed by Jose Pedraza when Tank beat him. And he was undefeated then. He's an undefeated champion then. But you're impressed with Keyshawn beating him? Oh, let me guess. You're impressed with Keyshawn beating Miguel Madueno, and Miguel Madueno just got stopped by Oscar Duarte. Oh, you're impressed by Keyshawn Davis beating Gustavo Lemos? Well, Richardson Hitchins beat Gustavo Lemos. Oh, you're impressed by Shakur beating Artem Harutyunyan? Well, Frank Martin beat Artem Harutyunyan. And Tank beat Frank Martin. And by the way, when Frank Martin beat Artem Harutyunyan, he was undefeated. But you're not impressed with Tank beating Frank. But you're impressed with Shakur beating Artem? It just doesn't make sense, bro. So I'm not saying that you can't feel that Keyshawn beats Gervonta. Keyshawn is spectacular. His performances have been spectacular. I'm not mad at anybody thinking that Keyshawn Davis could beat Gervonta. But if you're gonna tell me that you believe in Keyshawn based off what he's done, that's a fucking lie. You believe in Keyshawn to beat Tank because of what you think he can do, what his potential is, not based off what you've seen. Because what you've seen and who he's beating is just doesn't hold weight when you're going to make a statement and say Gervonta has beaten anybody. I'm just saying. Mario Barrios is better than Keyshawn Davis's whole resume. That's just a fact. Isa Pitbull Cruz is better than Keyshawn Davis's whole resume. That's a fact. And if you take Mario Barrios and Isa Pitbull Cruz alone, that's better than Shakur's whole resume. Just those two wins are better than Shakur's whole resume. Shout out to Jamel Herring. Shout out to Oscar Valdez. What else? I'll wait. What else? So we talk about, I'm just saying, from a merit standpoint, I think that Shakur is the person that can beat Tank. I think Tank beats him, but to me, that's why I want to see the fight. Just like when I want to see Beterbiev and Bivol. We wanted to see it because that's such a we have such high expectations because we don't know how it's gonna go. If anybody told me can somebody beat Beterbiev, I would pick Bivol. If someone told me can somebody beat Bivol, I would pick Beterbiev. If somebody told me someone could beat Canelo, I'll pick Benavidez. If someone told me someone could beat Benavidez, I'd pick Canelo. So if someone tells me someone could beat Tank, I'd pick Shakur. If someone told me somebody could beat Shakur, I'm gonna pick Tank. But if you ask me who I think is gonna win, I think Tank's gonna be Shakur. I think Canelo's gonna beat David Benavidez, and I thought, well, I had no picking Beterbiev Bivol because that was just a great fight I wanted to observe. But in the rematch, I'm going with Bivol. I could be wrong. So what I'm saying is that Terence Crawford picking Shakur, that's obvious. You know what I'm saying? I think Shakur has the best chance to beat Tank, but I still don't think he beats Tank. But I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. So he's not saying, my whole point is saying that people are going to take that and run with it and say it's disrespectful. It's not disrespectful because Shakur is considered to be one of the top 2 guys in the division. So there's nothing wrong with that. You know? But I do think there's something wrong when you try to say that, oh, these guys beat him because he ain't fight nobody. Well, then why are you picking Shakur and Keyshawn to beat Tank? Because they for sure ain't fight nobody. If Tank ain't fight nobody. That's all I'm saying. Was Dev 23? Yeah, I said 23, Ryan. I think he was 23. Yeah, Devin's a beast now. But at the same time, even when you say Devin, I got to give him love for the Undisputed, but as far as personnel goes, I don't think he fought as good as personnel as Gervonta. I don't think so at all. He said Canelo beating Benavidez is crazy work. Yeah, sure. yeah, sure. It's crazy to think that the guy who beat Hall of Famers, the only guy that has Hall of Famers on his resume, out of the two, out of Canelo and Benavidez, he's telling me it's crazy to pick Canelo when Canelo is the one that fought Hall of Famers and all-time greats, and Benavidez hasn't. In fact, the only person that they have in common is Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. One person stopped him and one person didn't. I think the person that stopped him would be Canelo, but it's crazy for me to say Canelo would beat Benavidez. It's a good fight, bro. I don't know who wins, but I'm going with Canelo. I don't think that's crazy. You may not like Canelo, you know, so you may not like Canelo, so you think it's crazy in your mind, but how is it crazy to pick the guy that's more proven? You know, Benavidez is proven in your mind alone. Benavidez is not proven when you're talking about somebody like Canelo. He's no one's resume in boxing matches Canelo's. It just is what it is. As far as personnel goes, I'm not talking about accolades, you know what I'm saying? And when you talk about accolades, Terence Bud Crawford's up there, Usyk's up there, Inoue's up there. But when you talk about individual people, Canelo, there's no one close. Yeah, now it doesn't matter, but I'm the one that sounds crazy. Yeah, shut up. You got it, bro. Let's move on to the next one, man. Yeah, this man just told me it doesn't matter what you do in boxing. Okay. Yeah, if it doesn't matter, then you have no reason to pick Benavidez there. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It just matters what we think. Yeah, you got it, bro. Yeah, man, funny, man. He said, nobody on Gervonta's resume, and even Gervonta, my guy, Candy Slim in the building, man. Big member in the building. He said, nobody on Gervonta's resume. Let me see. Oh, my boy about to preach. Hold on, chat. I'm about to disagree with it, but he's still going to take us to church. Hold on. My boy, Kenny Slim said, nobody on Gervonta's resume. Yeah. And even Gervonta himself is more accomplished than Lomachenko. Yeah. 31-0, Lord Devin Haney. Yeah. Stop it. Shout out to Devin Haney. Shout out to Lomachenko. Stop it. Lomachenko's 18-3. If we want to say that Gervonta brings people up, who is Lomachenko's best win? Shout out to Nicholas Axman Walters, Jamaican Bodman. But his best win is probably Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? Or maybe Gary Russell? Which one? Gary Russell Jr. or Guillermo Rigondeaux? I think a lot of people say Guillermo Rigondeaux, but some people say Gary Allen Russell. But Guillermo Rigondeaux, if Tank brought up Hector Garcia, if Tank brought up Leo Santa Cruz, Lomachenko definitely brought up Rigondeaux. And he's 18-3. He lost to Devin Haney, he lost to Teofimo, and he lost to Omar Salido. Right? So, yeah, I'm not going. I'm not going. Shout out to Loma, though. Loma is a beast. I'm not saying he's not a beast, but I'm not going. I'm telling you that right now. Okay, so I'm not going. And who's the other person you said? Devin Haney? I can't. Hey, Devin Haney a beast. You know, he was definitely cheated. He was definitely cheated. We ain't got no love for no cheaters. You know, Ryan Garcia cheated that man, and that's why the fight was turned to a no contest. And I was one of the first people that said it would get turned to a no contest once he tested positive for that B sample. So yeah, you're right. I don't give him. He does not have an L for that trash that we saw on the part of somebody cheating.
We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all.
However, I will say this. Once you're a cheater, you get caught as cheating unless you take it to court. And like Canelo did, shout out to Canelo. He took it to court to prove his innocence. As far as taking it unintentionally, shout out to Alicia Bumgarner. She took it to court and proved that it was unintentional. So whenever you do that stuff like that, and the following judgment gets served, right, as far as him taking it unintentional, I don't argue. If you want to conspire and say, oh, they had money to pay off the judges, that's up to you, bro. I'm just going by the books, bro. They found out that it was unintentional. That's good enough for me, right? But when you don't do that, or when you try to do it like Conor Benn and your appeal gets denied, then bitch, you cheated. And once you cheat, I'm sorry, I could be wrong for this, but I'm going to assume that Ryan Garcia cheated in his other fights too. Because guess what? When he fought Oscar Duarte, what did he say? He said he thought Ryan Garcia was on something. That doesn't mean that he was definitely on something. But then when someone accuses you of being on something, and then your very next fight, you subsequently get proven to be on something, bitch, I'm going with you being on something. I'm just saying. So I'm going to also assume that Ryan Garcia was on that shit when he fought Gervonta Tank Davis as well. And we saw what Gervonta Tank Davis did to him, shit or not. He put that boy on the shitter, you know what I'm talking about? So yes, I forgive Devin Haney for that performance because I don't count it because the dude cheated, but I'm gonna assume that Ryan Garcia was cheating against Tank and he still beat him. So it is what it is. Accomplished Doc, don't do political bait. What you mean? What I do, bro? Talk to me, bro. What I do, bro? My hands are up, bro. What I do, bro? What I do, bro? He said, I know I got it. Shit, I got Canelo beating Bud. Bud seems to know something we don't. Can't wait. I got Canelo beating Bud too, but that's not because that's the thing, OB. I'm not saying that Canelo, I'm not saying that you're wrong for picking Benavidez. I'm just saying, bro, if you came in here and you said, bro, you got Benavidez, I'd be like, bro, you might be right. Because I'm very fair, bro. Well, my assessments, I could be wrong. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. What I'm saying is that I give it to you from a logical standpoint because I love boxing so much. It's easy for me to be unbiased and objective. I'm very upfront with who I like. To me, Canelo and Tank, nobody beats them. To me, they're the best. But it's not because I think that, oh, Canelo will go and beat Beterbiev. No, I think Canelo better stay away from that boy. I think Beterbiev will beat him. I don't even think Canelo should fight Bivol again. Because I think that Bivol, but when I give my assessment, I don't just be like the groupies and be like, oh, Canelo got destroyed by Bivol. Yeah, he got destroyed, but he got destroyed by a bigger man. We always omit that because we don't like Canelo. Why do we do that? Just be fair, bro. He lost and he got washed, but he got washed by a bigger guy. I'm not saying that's supposed to happen, but why are we surprised? We're surprised that happened because Canelo's so great that we think that he could overcome anything. Same with Gervonta Tank Davis. We get mad at him for doing things that Dennis Berinchik did. We're mad because he's fighting the guy in Lamont Roach. That's a weight class below. Shakur was just about to fight Joe Cordina, who was a weight class below and just came off a knockout loss. Nick Ball is fighting a guy who just came off a knockout loss at TJ Doheny at a weight class below. His first title defense is against TJ Doheny, a guy who's moving up for the first time, and he just got knocked out at a weight class below. We didn't say nothing. Denise Berinchik got his title from a guy, Emmanuel Navarrete, who campaigned at 130. That's how he acquired his title at 135. We didn't care. We didn't diminish him. But because Tank and Tank, when he fought Frank Martin was ranked higher than Shakur Stevens' opponent in Artem Harutyunyan. Frank Martin was ranked higher than Teofimo's opponent in Steve Claggett. Frank Martin was ranked higher than Devin Haney's opponent in Ryan Garcia. But we say that Frank Martin wasn't good. He was an undefeated fighter, and then we give Shakur credit for beating Artem Harutyunyan, who had one loss. Oh, by the way, that one loss came to Frank Martin, the same guy that we don't give Tank credit for beating. That was ranked higher than all of his contemporaries' opponents. And by the way, he already beat Ryan Garcia, who was one of his contemporaries' opponents. And then the guy that he beat the guy that Shakur Stevenson fought, who was another contemporary. But we don't say that. You know what I'm saying? We got to tell the whole story. So that's what I try to do here. It is easy for me because, like I said, I like boxing, bro. I don't care if it's minimum weight with Oscar Collazo or maximum weight heavyweight with Alexander Usyk and Danny Dubois. I don't care. I just like boxing, bro. So if you think Benavidez beats Canelo, bro, that's I want to see that fight. I think the fight should happen. I'm not saying that Canelo beats Benavidez so he doesn't have to fight him. No, I don't do no groupie shit over here, bro. I want that fight to happen, and I think he goes either way because I like David Benavidez a lot too, and he's a beast. But if we're talking about merit and we're talking about substance in your resume, you can't tell me that outside of what you think will happen, you can't tell me it's more justified to think Benavidez beats Canelo. Hell no. Benavidez don't have a triple G 3 times on his resume. Benavidez don't have an undefeated Austin No Doubt Trout on his resume. Benavidez don't have a Floyd Mayweather on his resume, win or loss. Benavidez don't have a Sugar Shane Mosley on his resume. Benavidez don't have a Miguel Cotto on his resume. Benavidez don't have a freaking what's my boy's name? Dimitri Bivol on his resume. But Benavidez don't have a Sergey Kovalev on his resume. Benavidez's best win is still Caleb Plant. Unless you want to go with David Morrell. David Morrell's a good win too. But I think the majority of us would say David Benavidez's best win is Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. Canelo stopped Caleb No Sweet Hands Plant. I keep calling him No Sweet Hands. My bad. No disrespect. I love Caleb Plant. Benavidez beat Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. Canelo stopped Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. And he stopped him before Benavidez beat him. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't pick Benavidez. Benavidez is a beast. I want to see the fight because he's a beast. I think it's a good fight. But to say that I'm crazy for picking Canelo, I could say you're crazy for picking Benavidez. Canelo just as overrated as Crawford. Battle of the hype jobs. Yeah, you're ridiculous. He just called 2 guys that share 3 undisputeds hype jobs. They have Canelo is not only undisputed, or was, because William Skull has an IBF title now, but he was the first ever undisputed at 168 pounds. You're telling me he's a hype job. And then you said Terence Crawford was 2 undisputeds and undefeated at 41-0. He's a hype job. Yeah, you just don't like, you're just emotional. You're either emotional or you're stupid. Yeah, so I'm definitely not saying, please don't get to, because I'm no disrespect to David Benavidez, man. I rock with El Bandera Roja, excuse me. That guy's a beast, man. I rock with El Monstro, man. And shout out there. I give him all the credit in the world for fighting David Morrell. He didn't have to fight David Morrell. David Morrell, that's why I like Dave. That's one of the reasons why I like David Benavidez, man. He demonstrates what we all want to see in fighters, right? He had no reason to fight David Morrell. They were both, one was an interim champion, one was a regular champion. Either way, they both had a claim to the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol. But Benavidez, being such a real one, he was like, hold on, man. I don't want to be a hypocrite, right? I want to give the fans a fight that they want. And I know David Morrell, they want to see David Morrell, right? Me versus David Morrell. And David Morrell was been calling me out, and he followed me to light heavyweight. So bet I'm going to go challenge him. So I salute David Benavidez, man. I've always liked David Benavidez. I don't feel, how can I say this? I don't feel compelled to pick a side. I do like Canelo more, and I could tell you that I think Canelo wins, but David Benavidez deserves a fight against Canelo. Oh yeah, he deserves it. But when you're the face of boxing, unfortunately or fortunately, you have the power to choose who you want to fight or not want to fight. And that's all. And I just, I pay attention to boxing a lot. So I know that Benavidez, while he was in the mandatory position, his mandatory was never ordered. So when people say that Canelo was scared of him, I disagree with that part. But do I think Canelo wants to fight Benavidez? Hell no. I don't think Canelo wants to fight Benavidez. And I don't know why. It looks like he's scared. But to me, when you duck somebody, you can only duck two people in 2 situations. When they're in the way of getting a title and you don't want to get it, or they're in the way of you keeping your title and you don't want to give it up. But so in my opinion, I could be crazy, but I don't think so. I think if Benavidez was ever ordered as a mandatory, I think Canelo would have fought him. I honestly do. Now, people may disagree, but I honestly do. I think that if Benavidez was ever ordered, which he messed up a couple of times with the booger sugar and then missing weight or whatever, but no, I think he deserves a fight because he's a high caliber fighter, and I would like to see that more than Edgar Berlanga. But at the same time, if you watch boxing, Edgar Berlanga was ranked number 1 in the WBA. He wasn't the mandatory that was called, but he still fought a number 1 ranked guy. But then people will tell me that they don't like Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga, but then they'll be okay with Inoue versus TJ Doheny. TJ Doheny had 4 losses before he fought Inoue. But we're okay with that. But we're mad at Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga, who was ranked number 1 in the WBA. Where was TJ Doheny ranked when Naoya Inoue fought him? I'll wait. But he said, okay, good points, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to you, and welcome to the Boxing Talk family, man. I just wonder why Canelo continues to delay the fight if he don't think he'll beat Benavidez. That's how. No, I agree. That's a fair assessment. I don't know. I can't tell you why. That'd be me lying, bro. I don't be capping. I don't know why Canelo's not fighting him, but I just don't think, I don't subscribe to the fact that Canelo, who's fought Hall of Famers and legends and all-time greats, I'm sorry, I can't subscribe to the fact that he's scared of anybody. I got to give these fighters their credit. I don't think Benavidez is scared of him either. Obviously, he proved that with Burrell, so it's easier to say that he's not scared of anybody. And it's kind of hard to justify why Canelo's not fighting him. So I don't even play that game. I don't know why Canelo's not fighting him. I just don't think he's scared. I just don't think that he sees Benavidez as a necessary risk that he has to take. That's what I think. You know, it's like Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather was on top, he was a face of boxing, right? And then Canelo inherited it from him, right? When Canelo was a face of boxing, when Floyd was a face of boxing, he could have fought Errol Spence. You could argue that Errol Spence may have deserved it. And Keith Thurman, they may have deserved it. But why would I fight him when I could fight other guys that are easier and give me even more reward? Boxing is a business, bro. We may not like it, but if we stick our head in the sand and act oblivious to it, doesn't mean the business side goes away. It is a sport, but a sport is competition and business, right? So when Floyd Mayweather is at the end of his career and he chooses to fight Conor McGregor and Andre Berto as opposed to Errol Spence and Keith Thurman, who doesn't understand that? I mean, he's the one that already has Oscar De La Hoya on his resume. He has Manny Pacquiao. He has Juan Luis Castillo. He has, rest in peace, the late great Diego Corrales. He has Juan Manuel Marquez. He has Ricky Hatton. He has Sugar Shane Mosley. He has all these Hall of Fame fighters. He's not the one that has to prove anything. We can't forget, Benavidez is chasing Canelo. It's not the other way around. Errol Spence and Keith Thurman, I wouldn't say they were chasing him. Well, Keith Thurman more so, but they were chasing Floyd, not the other way around. So that's all I'm saying. Why you always compare Canelo and Inoue? I'd compare Canelo, Inoue, Usyk. Why do you only hear Canelo and Inoue? Are you an Inoue groupie? Does that offend you? Why do you only hear Inoue? Why does it only bother you when I bring up Inoue? That's a problem right there. A lot of people are groupies. That's okay, but it's not my fault that Inoue stuck you like a thorn in your side when I say Inoue, and I'm not praising him like he's a little monster Jesus, because you want to talk about Inoue like he's a little monster Japanese Jesus, and then you get offended if people aren't praising him. I literally just said that Inoue is an all-time great. You didn't hear that part, but you heard me when I said that Inoue fought TJ Doheny, because you think that Inoue fighting whoever he fights is a great fight because you like Inoue. That's not what this boxing channel is. It's a boxing channel, not a groupie channel. So if you can't take me critiquing Inoue for fighting TJ Doheny, then you're probably in the wrong place, bro. It is what it is. Because you'll listen to me say that Gervonta Davis, you'll listen to me critique Gervonta Davis fighting Lamont Roach all day, though, right? You'll listen to me critiquing Canelo fighting Edgar Berlanga all day, right? Oh, but if I bring up Naoya Inoue and say that he fought somebody in Yi Jun Kim that we didn't want, or if I say he fought somebody in TJ Doheny that we didn't want, oh, you're offended. I mean, you're in the wrong place, bro. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. I can't help you there. I think Naoya Inoue is great. I think he's a beast. I think that TJ Doheny was trash. That was a terrible fight. It is what it is. So whether you like it or not, then that's up to you. I can't do no better than that. People already know how to defend Bitter BF. Oh, by the way, I think Junto Nakatani beats Naoya Inoue too. I don't know. That hurts your feelings. There's that too. I think Junto Nakatani beats the hell out of Inoue. I hope that fight happens. I think Junto Nakatani gonna put him in the dirt. Throw the jab more P. Get the groupies off you. You keep leaving yourself open. What's the last topic? Goofy will learn. You right. Let's get it. You right. Let's move on to the next topic though, man. But that was a good conversation, man. I like that one, man. I like that conversation, man. I have nothing against anybody, man. You know, I love them. I love boxing, man. I love boxing, but it is what it is, man. You know, upcoming fight, Dylan White versus George. My guy George in the building. He said, "Who wins?" I got Dylan White. I have no reason to pick Joe Joyce. He didn't look good against Derek Chisora, so we'll see. But yeah, the last topic, man. Let's move on, man. As you can see, we have we have a Harry Potter book, chat. Shout out to Oscar. We have a Harry Potter book, right? This is because not because I like Harry Potter. Nothing wrong with Harry Potter. It's just not my cup of tea. I like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. I don't really care for wizardry. I like hand-to-hand combat. Hence my love for boxing too. Hand-to-hand weapons and stuff, you know, like swords and stuff. I don't like magic. But Virgil Ortiz, man, he was reading a Harry Potter book. And Riyadh sees it, and he made a tweet saying that he's noticing stuff in the book that was omitted in the movie. And I think it's kind of funny because, you know, shout out to Ty. Ty thought that Virgil Ortiz is acting kind of funny, right? Because he's usually talkative, which is true at press conferences. He usually is. But now he's reading books, and apparently he's reading a Harry Potter book. A lot of people are like, oh, man, you know, he's acting different. It's a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing. Now, it could be a bad thing because he's acted out of character, I guess, from what he typically acts, because he's not as talkative and stuff. But it could be that he's really focused, you know, and the fact that he's reading a book is never go bad with reading a book, right? And what does that mean? When you read a book, you're in your own space. When you read a book, you're probably secluded. When you read a book, you're focused. When you're not reading a book, that doesn't mean you're not focused or you're not in a good space or you're not secluded. But it could be that you're out and about. When you're out and about, you could be getting in trouble. You could be getting distracted. You could be doing things that you shouldn't be doing and getting caught up. You could be doing things that you should be doing too, but you could also get caught up in some wrong things with the wrong people. So I think that he's reading a book is actually good. And I'm not going to lie, man, not because he's reading a book, but because of how I see him talking and stuff like that. It seems the same, but it seems kind of different. I'm still going with Israel Madrimov, but man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I've been watching Virgil Ortiz and I'm thinking, man, he could, I don't know, bro. He could switch it up, and because Oscar De La Hoya said it's gonna be an early night. I don't think it's gonna be an early night. I think he's tripping, but he's saying that, hey, if Israel Madrimov comes to fight and stands there and trades, it could be an early night. We know Virgil Ortiz is a big puncher, but Israel Madrimov has 1 L, and that 1 L came to one of the top 3 guys pound for pound, no matter what order. Usyk, Inoue, or let me not bring up Inoue. My bad. Sorry. Let me not rub somebody the wrong way. But the top 3, in my opinion, they're interchangeable. Usyk, Inoue, or Bud. In my personal opinion, I have Usyk number 1, Bud number 2, Inoue number 3, currently as it sits right now. Once again, just in case you missed it, I just gave Inoue another compliment because I like him. You know, I can't help what you hear. But anyway, I think that with Madrimov only losing to Crawford, I don't think there's any problem with that. I don't think that is indicative of him having a weakness. I don't think that him going against Virgil Ortiz coming off a loss to Crawford but in any way, shape, or form means that he's going to be a walk in the park for anybody. You know, Crawford is a phenomenal fighter, right? And so losing to Crawford is no shame in that. Losing to Usyk's no shame in that. Losing to Inoue is no shame in that. Losing to Canelo's no shame in that. Losing to Beterbiev or Bivol is no shame in that. Losing to Tank is no shame in that. So these are great fighters. It's only a shame in losing to those guys if you think that a loss means that you're not a good fighter anymore. Or like you're a crazy fan that throws away fighters after one loss. So I think that Madrimov is a formidable fighter. I actually think that Madrimov is still one of the top guys in 154-pound division. I think it's Terence Crawford, Bakram Martizaliev, Israel Madrimov. Of course, I got to put Sebastian Fedora since he's a holder of 2 belts. But I think Israel Madrimov is going to bounce back. And I think that this is Virgil Ortiz is going to be used as a stepping stone to get back into relevancy and to get back into prominence, right? But, however, I don't think Virgil Ortiz is ever a walk in the park or ever somebody to be stepped over. However, I did think that Israel Madrimov would win this fight kind of easily. I said that. I think that Israel Madrimov is going to win definitively. Let me not say easily. I think he's going to win definitively. But, man, I'm seeing Virgil Ortiz. I'm seeing things with him, you know what I'm saying, just being locked in. Because that's what I think reading is. I think reading, you know, it helps your mind space, right? Your state of mind. It calms you down, makes you more, I don't know, to me, it makes you harness your inner strength more. Like, just makes you, no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing athletics or you're doing, I don't know, academics or whatever, it just helps you to be, at least for me, like when you read, it makes you access other parts of your mind that you might not typically access. And I think it's better for clarity. It's better for focus, and it's just better for overall well-being, man. And I think that him doing that, it may be out of character for him, what he typically does, but I think it's indicative of him being more focused and taking this fight seriously, man. And I think if he takes this fight seriously, I still think he loses, but I'm a little, you know, my eyes are a little bit wider, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'll be paying attention to this fight more closely because, in my opinion, on Riyadh season, as great as this card is, to me, obviously, I think Beterbiev and Bivol could go either way. I think Ajit Kabayel, Zhale Zhang is a good fight, but I picked Kabayel to win. Even with Beterbiev and Bivol, I picked Bivol the second fight. Schofield and Shakur and Kid Austin. I think that people are overlooking that fight, but I got Shakur. I think Carlos Adames defending against Hamza Shiraz. So Carlos Adames versus Hamza Shiraz. I'm going with Carlos Adames. I'm missing somebody. Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker. I got Daniel Dubois. The only fight that I didn't know was going to happen is Joshua Buatsi and Callum Smith. And I was leaning for Callum Smith for the upset, even though Joshua Buatsi should win. But I thought he looked disappointed against Willie Hutchinson in his last fight. But my point is that when I talked about all the other fights, the only fight that I was questionable about Well, Beterbiev Bivol, but then also Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi. I didn't have any reservations in my pick of Israel Madrimov. But now, Virgil Ortiz is making me a little more shaky, baby. I'm a little more shaky, baby. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm still going with Israel Madrimov. I'm still standing 10 toes down. I'm still gonna stick with Madrimov. But Virgil Ortiz, for whatever, I don't know if it's a Harry Potter book. I don't know if it's a gosh dang. What is it? What Harry Potter got? Hogwarts. I don't know if it's Hogwarts or whatever. But for some reason, I'm thinking Virgil Ortiz might shake a little something. Pause. Shake a little something was crazy.
No diddy.
Yeah, no diddy. I think he might do something, you know. But I still got Madrimov. He said, I think Madrimov gonna get stopped with the body shot. Me too. That's exactly how I see it going too. That's crazy. Every time Bud touched his body, he grabbed Bud. Yep. He said, he said, I think Madrimov gonna get stopped with a body shot every time. Okay, I read that wrong. I read it, but I was thinking that you said Madrimov gonna stop him with a body shot. I think Madrimov gonna stop Virgil Ortiz with a body shot. He said, I think Madrimov gonna get stopped with a body shot. He don't like body shots. Yeah, they say the Eastern Europeans don't like the body shots. Harry Potter, oh yeah, he loses. Harry Potter, oh yeah, he loses. He said every time Bud touched his body, he grabbed Bud. True. I got Madrimov winning too. Virgil inconsistent of late. Yeah, I mean, is it that he's inconsistent, or is that his opponents? You know, his opponent's a little shaky, bro. Like same with Jerron Boots Ennis, you know, but Jerron Boots Ennis is at least a champion. But I like Jerron Boots Ennis. I like Virgil Ortiz, but their opponents aren't really that impressive. Like Karen, I think I was impressed with Karen because he fought him twice. I think Karen's a tough out for anybody at 147. But I mean, his best opponent before that was David Avanesian on short notice. I don't know. You know, maybe Royman Villa. He didn't look good. He just got stopped recently. Like I said, Karen was always a good opponent in the rematch, you know. But even Virgil Ortiz, right? Virgil Ortiz beat Thomas Delorme. Boots and Bud beat Thomas Delorme already. You know, he beat Kai Velasquez. Bud beat him already. You know, I'm not saying that just because you beat them, it means that they're not good. But, you know, he doesn't have a signature win. That's it. He doesn't have a signature win. Him beating Serhii Boachuk, that was a good win, but was it a signature win? I mean, a lot of people thought he lost. Oscar thought that Virgil Ortiz lost. I was cool with Virgil Ortiz winning, but he did get dropped twice, and the fight was controversial. So Virgil Ortiz is still lacking a signature win. Jerron Boots Ennis is still lacking a signature win. So to me, they both would benefit off a signature win. This would be it for Virgil Ortiz. And Boots' next win over if he wins against Stanionis for the Ring Magazine belt, the IBF and the WBA, if he beats Stanionis, that's his signature win. So they both have some signature wins coming up. But to me, they're both in a similar position where they look good. They check all the boxes. They have all the ingredients for the recipe of a pound for pound talent, great fighter. But they're just missing a key ingredient, and that's a high level of opposition to where I feel comfortable bestowing these titles of greatness on these guys. And, you know, that's just my opinion on that. He said, Candy Slip said, Virgil, shoot, I missed your message, bro. Virgil by stoppage is plus 360. I see Virgil getting it done via left hook, the body. That's what a lot of people thought, that Virgil was going to get it done with a left hook to Boachuk, right? Because remember, Boachuk only had one loss going in, and that was to Brandon Adams. And how did Brandon Adams stop him? Brandon Adams stopped him with a left hook. And Virgil Ortiz is notorious for having a beast of a left hook, but he didn't get the job done against Serhii Boachuk. Who do you think is better, Boachuk or Madrimov? Now, styles make fights, but I think stylistically, Boachuk is conducive for Virgil Ortiz. Madrimov, man, he gonna move around a lot, bro. He's athletic. I'm sorry, I just have, stylistically speaking, to me, that's why I thought it was so easy to pick Madrimov. But now, you know, maybe it's the Harry Potter and the whatever else wizardry they got going on. But I'm thinking a little bit differently. But I'm still sticking with my guy Madrimov. What do you think about Xander Zayas versus Ortiz versus Madrimov? I got Xander Zayas over Ortiz. I got Madrimov over Xander Zayas, though. Yo, we got my boy George the Last Patriot dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter.
These biscuits.
Shout out to my guy George, man. He says possible fight Jared Anderson versus Johnny Fisher. Oh, George, that's a good one. Shout out to you for dropping the graffiti on the chat walls, man. I appreciate that. I got Johnny Fisher, man. Even though Johnny Fisher was a beneficiary of a robbery, like I said, fighters fight, judges judge. It's not his fault he beat Dave Allen, but David Allen, he definitely legitimately lost that fight. Well, sorry, Johnny Fisher legitimately lost that fight. David Allen beat him, but it's not his fault, you know. But Jared Anderson looked terrible in his last fight against Callias. So I got Johnny Fisher, man. The Rumford Bull. Virgil is already a focus individual. Him reading is trying to unlock his mastermind. Hey, Dooley. hey, Dooley, you could be right. You could be right. And if he goes mastermind, but that's the thing, right? He's flat-footed. He comes forward. He's one-dimensional, right? He does have power, devastating power. But Madrimov is a complete fighter to me. To me, he's a complete fighter. I'm going with a complete fighter. Stop it, Doc. Lord Baltimore getting enjoyed. That's what it is, Baltimore. That's what it is. It's Baltimore, bro. He get in my head, bro. Like I said, I'm still going with Madrimov, but Virgil Ortiz, I don't know. Xander Zayas, nice dude, young as hell. He gonna give guys hell in the field. Yeah, I think Xander Zayas is one of the reasons why 154 is so formidable from top to bottom, right? To me, 154 is the best division. You got Terence Crawford, top pound for pound 1, 2, or 3. You got Sebastian Fedora, awkward fighter, 6'3" or 6'5", excuse me. 2 belts. You got guys. You got Bakram Murtazaliev, relatively unknown beast. Look what he did to Tim Tszyu. You got Jesus Ramos, who looked great against Jason Rosario's last fight. You got Erickson the Hammer Lubin, you know what I'm saying? He's coming back and fighting Argiro Holmes. That's going to be a good fight. You got, who else? 154. You got the Young Bulls, Xander Zayas, Charles Conwell, Jonas Tellis. They all look great. I know I'm missing some people, no disrespect, but there's also, I think Tim Tszyu could bounce back. Like I said, Israel Madrimov, Virgil Ortiz. 154 is fire, bro. That's a great division. I think Xander Zayas is a problem. I just think it's a little too early. I wouldn't want to see Xander Zayas against Virgil Ortiz or Madrimov, but he wants Virgil Ortiz. Get a young man what he wants, and I think Xander Zayas could beat Virgil Ortiz because of the things I mentioned. I think Virgil Ortiz is flat-footed, and he's not. It's not even as important that he's flat-footed. It's more important that Xander Zayas, I believe, is somebody that could take advantage of Virgil Ortiz being flat-footed. It's not really that, I don't really like saying that being flat-footed is a problem. I don't think it's too much of a problem until it is when you fight somebody who could take advantage of it, So I think sometimes we over-exaggerate being flat-footed as an issue. So I'm not saying it's an issue, but I think Xander Zayas, it would be because Xander Zayas is a versatile, agile fighter that could give you angles. But if he gets hurt, right? Because we saw Xander Zayas, he got caught by trying to exchange, right? He got caught by his last fight in Slava Spomer, relatively unknown German fighter who's undefeated and trained by Roy Jones, right? He got caught. If that was Virgil Ortiz, he might have been night. You know what I'm saying? He might have woke up with me looking over his body like this.
You got knocked the fuck out, man. Give me my goddamn money.
So, yeah. Bud said ain't nobody at 150. See, Bud, shout out to Bud. Like I said, Bud is a very humble guy. Like I said, he said that him beating Canelo would make him an all-time great. I think he's full of shit. He's already an all-time great. Him beating Canelo will put him in the argument of one of the greatest of all time. 2 different conversations. But, he's a humble guy, man. He's a great fighter, phenomenal fighter. I think, I can't speak for nobody else. He's a grown-ass man. I can't speak for him. Won't have the audacity to try to. But in my opinion, there's nobody there for Bud. I agree with him. There's nobody there for him. There's people there. But there's nobody there for you because you're looking for a legacy final fight to where you could get paid and you could get out. And there's nothing wrong with that. I hate when people demonize that. And the man's 37 years old, 41-0, undefeated. He just fought an undefeated champion in his debut at a new weight. You know what I'm saying? Bakram Murtazaliev, I would prefer because I think that Canelo beats Bud. I would prefer for Terence Crawford to go for undisputed at a 3rd weight division. I think that's more realistic. No disrespect to him. Like I said, it's intriguing because he's a phenomenal fighter, but if it wasn't Bud, who else would you want to see fight a 168 pounder if you're coming from 147? There's nobody would you wouldn't even be intrigued because you think Canelo would slaughter him or whoever else is that big, and there's nothing wrong with that. But because he's such a phenomenal fighter, we're intrigued and excited because there's a possibility that he could win because he's been proving that this whole time. So I think it's disrespectful not to give him a chance, a solid chance. I think he does have a great chance. I think he has a path to victory. I just think Canelo is an equally great fighter. Maybe not equally skilled, but he's equally great. And he's been in there with guys as big as 175. So I just find it hard to see Terence Crawford deterring Canelo from pressing forward. And I think it's exaggerated how flat-footed Canelo is. So, but yeah, I think that I don't think there's anybody there for him because what he wants to do. I don't think Bakram's a big money fight. It's a big fight. We're going to enjoy it, Mike, because we love boxing. But is it a fight for the public? Bakram's he doesn't have enough renown. His profile's not big enough. Sebastian Fedora, that doesn't move the needle. Those are the other 2 champions. The only fight at 154, in my opinion, that moves the needle for Bud would be Jermell Charlo, and he's not even active. So I do agree with him on that. For him, not that there's nobody there, but nobody there for him to make a big splash when it comes to revenue generation and what he wants. He was reading Bruce Lee and looked shitty against Ortiz. Hey, I got the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, man. You know I got a Bruce Lee book, man. Shout out to Bruce Lee. You right about that. You right about that. So maybe it's not good. I do respect that. But shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to appreciate George for the super chat. Shout out to Orion too for the Inouye comment, man. I'm not mad at that, man. People think that's how boxing is, though. You know, when you like somebody and someone's not praising them, people think that you're attacking them. I really like Inouye, bro. Inouye is on my intro. I wouldn't put him on my intro if I didn't like him. And I'm not saying that means I like him, but I just critique I critique Gervonta Davis. I critique him too. You know, I critique everybody, man. But I also praise everybody too. I think Inouye is phenomenal, but I don't think that I don't think he's above critiques. Just like even Canelo, you know. I critique Canelo as well. I'd have been pissed if he would have fought Jake Paul. But I don't think ask me any question, bro. I don't get offended. As long as you don't get offended, I'm gonna talk trash now. I'm gonna talk about trash, but I really don't mean it. You know, I just like to talk trash. That's all sometimes. But yeah, man, shout out to you. I don't think there's anything wrong with liking Inouye. Inouye's a beast, all time great, man. But yeah, I definitely think Juto beats him. I think Juto. I wanted Juto to fight Takuma Inoue, but Takuma Inoue got upset by Seiya Tsutsumi. You know, and shout out to my guy OB. You know, that's funny. That's actually my name. My real name is OB. But yeah, shout out to him for liking Dave Benavidez, bro. I don't think there's anything wrong. I do think that there's stuff wrong with us being able to discern when someone's hating and someone's just giving an opinion, you know. But that's how the culture is on YouTube and the YouTube boxing community, right? It's like people are so extreme that they will discredit Benavidez like he don't belong in the ring with Canelo. He absolutely does belong in the ring with Canelo. That's a good fight. I wish Canelo would have the fight, but I just think Canelo wins. And I could be wrong, you know, because if anybody can beat Canelo, it's Dave Benavidez for sure. He's definitely a threat, you know. And if I was Canelo, I'd slap a rehydration clause on his ass. Facts. Bud is right. All the opponents at 154 are either relatively unknown or have losses that people will use to discredit his win. Fact, Kendrick in the building. Big member in the building. If Crawford don't get Canelo, I'm almost certain he'll retire. Yep, I agree with that. Boxing suits not wasting time, but leaving the Canelo versus Bud back on the table while Bud is about to retire since he's already... Exactly, 37, man. I think people forget that, man, 37.
Damn.
And that's not...
I'm sorry.
That's not old in life, but that's older in boxing years when everybody else is 25, 26, 27, you know, and you 37, you know. But yeah, that's it, man. I don't think Virgil Ortiz reading that Harry Potter book, just to bring it back. We're going to finish the topics right here. I don't think Virgil Ortiz down here. Dang. I don't think Virgil Ortiz reading that Harry Potter book is a bad thing. I think it's actually a good thing, but I do think that, like I said, it got me a little considering some things, but I still think Ezra Majimov wins. But that's it for the topics today, man. Anybody want to join the Discord, you can pull up. You know what I'm saying? Now we get into the portion of the show where we open it up to the panel, man. And I love for somebody to come in and converse with your boy. You know what I'm talking about? There's no, I don't want you to, like I said, there's no, I let my guests control where the conversation goes, man. This is not me trying to establish some type of superiority or nothing like that. We just have a conversation, man. I want to hear your opinions. I like to hear your opinions, and I offer my rebuttal. But I'm not here to attack you. If you are, I don't care if you know a lot, if you have extensive boxing knowledge, or you have casual type boxing knowledge, just join the channel, man. Let's talk about it. Join the Discord, man. Let's talk about it. See what y'all got for me. See what y'all got for me. Let's get it. 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 All right. Let me hop in this Discord. In there when everybody want to join. Yo, Smoochie in the building. What's good? So, you don't let us control it if it's about Jordan P. Then you get belligerent. That's cap. That's cap. Yeah, Uncle Jordan, man. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. That's cap. I think what I was gonna say. You made me lose my train of thought, bro. Not that I let you control it. I'm saying you control the interaction as far as if it gets combative, if it gets passionate, I let you control it, but I'm always be me. But I'm not here to like make somebody look goofy or something. No, that's never my intention. You know what I'm saying? If we have a conversation and it's calm, it is. But if it gets a little energetic and rambunctious, and that's cool too. I like it. I like it either way, man. Pause. Yo, Katie Slim said, any, how many full belts has Tank won in 12 years? Ooh, shout out to my boy Katie Slim, man. Dropping that bread, that cheese, that butter. Wait, what did I say, bro? Oh, we got Smoochie in the building. You said, wait, what did I say? Wait, what did I say? What did I say, Kenny? So Eddie, what? He said, Eddie, how many has he won? Okay, so that's a good conversation. Hey, shout out to Candy Slim. Now let me address your question, right? How many full belts has Tank won in the last 12 years? Now, when you say a full belt, you talk about like a super championship, right? So for example, let me say Beterbiev and Bivol, right? He won the belts from Bivol when they fought, right? Because Bivol, that was undisputed, right? So to be fair, Tank beat Pedraza. That was a full belt. And then now don't quote me, I could be wrong, but I believe wasn't Barrios for a belt at 140? And then he moved back down. So I think those two. Don't quote me though. But my point is that, so I would say 2 or 3. Yeah, two, arguably 3. I would agree with Kendrick. So I would say 2 though. But now, to be fair, I would have to look that up though. I don't know off the top of my head. But to be fair, no, this is where my Tank won 1.5 belts. Nah, bro, y'all disrespectful. Hold on, bro. Y'all ain't going to be disrespecting my boy like that. Nah, y'all disrespectful, bro.
Here you go. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm tired of that. It was so disrespectful.
Now I will say this though. My rebuttal to that though, right, is that I think we may fundamentally disagree here. I just made a video about it. Go check out my last video yesterday if you haven't done so already, right? So don't forget to smack that like button. Smack that like button, man. Smack that. We should get more likes. But I have a different perspective on belts than the average person, I would say, than the average boxing fan, right? He said Barrios was a regular champ. Okay, but my perspective is this, right? Barbosa, right? I just made a video about Barbosa. Barbosa won an interim championship, right? So he's not a full champ, obviously. But Barbosa, those of you that pay attention with Candy Slim, which I know you gosh damn well do, you good gosh dang well pay attention, right? I know you pay attention. So what if Teofimo doesn't fight Barbosa, Slim? What happens? He gets stripped, right? And then Barbosa gets elevated to a full championship, right? So people would say Barbosa didn't win a full championship in the ring. He got emailed a championship. And I say bullshit. I say bullshit. Bullshit. Right? The reason why I say BS is because that just means to me that Barbosa versus Jack Catterall was an actual fight for the championship. I'm going to give you another example. And the reason why I say it is because Barbosa has been calling out Teofimo, which is why I say I know you pay attention, Slim. So I know you know this. For the last 3 years, 2 years for sure, Barbosa has been the #1 ranked opponent in WBO. Somebody, I was telling somebody yesterday, they were like, "Oh, Barbosa shouldn't feel like he's a real champion. This is an interim champ." He said this is the fight to determine who's the #1 contender. No, bitch.
You dumbass.
No, it's not. To determine who's the #1 contender. Barbosa has been the #1 contender. He was the #1 contender, and he has been for at least 2 years, 3 years even. I think 2 years for sure. I even showed the documentation in the rankings. Barbosa has been calling out Teofimo. Teofimo doesn't want to give him the fight. He's been ordered to fight. Well, the WBO has been sloughing and not giving him the fight because he's not known, right? You know, WBO, they rather charge 2 people sanctioning fees and then give the person what they deserve, right? So how could I punish Barbosa for not being a full champion when he's not getting his fair opportunity that he deserves? It's not his fault that he didn't get to fight Teofimo. He wants it, but they're not giving it to him, right? And the WBO, when you take somebody out of when you make somebody an interim champion, he's no longer ranked, he or she's no longer ranked at the WBA, WBC, or IBF. So if they're not ranked in the other sanctioned bodies because they're a champion, that means so they're getting treated like a champion. They're getting taxed because they're interim champion. So they're getting charged like a champion. Then bitch, I'm a champion. You know what I'm saying? So us on paper, he's an interim champion, but if Teofimo doesn't fight him and he chooses to vacate, which I think he will, I think he'll get stripped. He'll get elevated. So essentially, I'm not one that sits there and says, "Oh, well, he didn't have a title fight." No, he had a title fight. It was just against Jack Catterall, and it was just done retroactively. Same with Daniel Dubois. When Daniel Dubois when he inherited or was emailed the IBF championship after Usyk retroactively vacated it, people say, "Oh, he didn't win the belt in the ring." No, because if he would have lost to Filip Hrgović, then Filip Hrgović would have been the champion, not Daniel Dubois, right? But because Daniel Dubois beat Hrgović for that interim belt that they made since Usyk wasn't stripped yet, then he beat him, and then since he won, he got elevated to the full championship. So essentially, that was his title fight. So what I'm saying is there's no super champion, or there's nobody that, even no matter who you're talking about, whether you're talking about Tank or you're talking about Shakur, you talk about Canelo, you talk about Benavidez. If there's no super champion, or that super champion is not able to fight you, then I don't think that waters down your championship. So for example, like with Benavidez and Morrell, I mean, it's up to Benavidez, it's a different situation, but if Benavidez, for some reason, if Beterbiev doesn't fight, if Beterbiev is the winner and he doesn't fight Benavidez, or if Bivol wins and the forces a trilogy and Benavidez doesn't get the fight, but Benavidez just won a unified interim championship from Dave Morrell, or unified regular championship, I don't think that diminishes his championship. I think that his next fight is just as significant, whether he's fighting Gilberto Ramirez at cruiserweight or he's fighting Canelo at super middleweight. Now, of course, on paper, it's not going to look as good, but I think that we have to add the context. I think that it's important for us to keep that context intact. But as far as winning the championship, a full championship, I mean, who's won more full championships than him besides Devin Haney, I guess. But even with Devin Haney, I mean, I like champions, so I respect the hell out of Devin Haney. He's the youngest undisputed, still is the youngest undisputed male boxer. But how impressed are you with Regis Prograis? Are you? I mean, I'm asking. I'm not trying to be funny. How impressed are you with? Do you think that? Let's use Tank for example. Do you think Tank loses to Regis Prograis? Do you think Tank loses to George Kambosos? Do you think Tank loses to? I don't know who else. Devin Haney. He obviously doesn't lose to Ryan Garcia because he already beat him, right? So my point is that, like, I love accomplishments and accolades. I love the championships, so I'm not discrediting anybody. But when I'm also not gonna, like, for example, I don't think that the entire 147-pound divisions are full of fake champions because none of them won the full belt in the ring. That's just unfair. You know, it just happens that Terence Crawford was undisputed at 147 and he moved up. So naturally, he had a claim to the belt at 147. So Boots inherited his for the IBF. Even Brian Norman, the most recent champion, when he beat Santillan, that wasn't for a full champion. It wasn't until afterwards he was elevated because Bud relinquished his claim to the WBO at 147, right? Because he's the mandatory for 154, the WBO, right? That's how he became the mandatory WBO of 154, because he let go of his claim for he used his claim for his position at 147 in the WBO. So I can't knock Stanionis and Barrios and whoever else and the other Norman and Boots for inheriting their belt or being emailed their belt. I mean, essentially the fights that they won put them in the position to inherit the belt. So I know that's not really a popular opinion, but that's my opinion on it. But I do agree with you, though, that the super belt is what you want. You know what I'm saying? I do agree with you, though. Tank and Regis had words. I was supposed to mix it up with social media. Tank didn't want to. Come on, Slim. You don't even believe that, bro. Stop it. Yo, my boy Kendrick in the building. What's good, bro?
Yo.
Yes, sir. You don't even believe that, bro. Stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. My boy. No, not you, Kendrick. I'm talking about Kendrick. He talking about Tank ain't want no smoke with Regis, bro. Come on, bro. I love Rougarou. Don't get me wrong. Rougarou my guy. But come on, he ain't got nothing for Tank, bro. Stop it, bro.
As the fellow Shakur fanatic, I had to step in.
Yes, sir.
And you asked the question. You said how many people won more championships than Tank? Arguably Shakur.
Okay.
He has 3 undisputed. Now we could talk about Tanks.
Well, I just say one. I thought I said if I did say, I know sometimes I misspeak. I said fought more champions is what I meant to say. If I said one more championships, I meant to say if I might have mistakenly said one more champion. I meant to say fought more champions. That's what I meant to say. But go ahead, go with your spill though. I mean, talk for Shakur because
no, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Shakur's a 3-division champion.
Yep.
And there's no make about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We could have that conversation about Tank.
Yep.
It could be 2-division or 3-division or whatever you feel. But yeah, that's pretty much what I was coming in hot on because I was like, hold on, this person. What do you mean?
I'm not mad at that, bro. I'm glad you caught me. Yeah, I may have misspoke. I meant to say fought more champions. If I said one more championships. No, I meant to say fought more champions. But I mean, I'm not mad at that though. I'm not mad at that. What did I say that when we're talking about Bud saying that Keyshawn and Shakur are the ones that beat him?
That's an interesting take. I wanted to talk about that too.
Okay.
Because I you know me, I think Shakur beats him.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Bud made a good argument for Keyshawn. Because at the end of the day, he's right. Tank pretty much loses all his fights until he's not losing, until it's over, right? It's like only one that he really washed, I guess you could say, kinda, is Pitbull.
Okay.
But all his most recent fights, he was losing those fights on the cards.
Okay.
And then, he got that equalizer. So if Keyshawn, we see the power that Keyshawn had, believe it or not, right?
Yep.
A lot of people didn't believe it.
Yep.
But believe it or not,
power.
Keyshawn got that power.
Yep.
If Keyshawn could get to Tank that way and make him feel uncomfortable, we've never seen Tank in that position. If he could hurt Tank? Oh,
yeah. If he could hurt him, I think that's a. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And the size difference.
Yeah, that size. I mean, that size. Yeah.
And Keyshawn know how to use it. It's not like a lot of these other fighters that like a Fundora who's gonna just fight a fight that he's not supposed to win because he just wants to entertain. Keyshawn gonna entertain you, but he's still not going to put himself in that position.
Yeah. Only thing about that is, so I think that is a good point, but I just how is. I guess my question is with Terence Crawford when I was watching that interview. I think that is a good point that he starts off slow. I think we kind of know that, but I guess I took it from the angle is that, like, if you're gonna also say that Tank's resume is questionable, what leads you to believe that Keyshawn could do that from his opponents that he fought? Like that's the part that I don't understand. But I will say this though, I think I'm not sure who's stronger. I'm not sure who has more power. Keyshawn or some of Tank's opponents, like let's say Frank Martin. I'm not sure who has more power, but I do think Keyshawn is better. And I think that I'm not saying that he has less power. I think it's probably about the same, but I don't know though. I don't know. Maybe Keyshawn has
Frank
more.
Martin, you said?
Yeah, but I think.
Oh yeah, he got way more power than
you
Frank
think he has more power than Frank Martin? I don't know.
Huh?
You think he has more power than Frank Martin?
But yeah, he got more power than Frank Martin, 100%.
I don't know, man. I think he has a better technique, so I think that he is a better overall fighter, so he could deliver that power better. But I don't know if he has more. Like, I don't know who has better one-shot power. I'm not sure. I'm not. And what about their size difference? Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at leaning towards Keyshawn because I don't really have no way to. I'm just thinking from like when he put Michelle down and he put. Did he drop Artem Harutyunyan? Or was that? I could be confusing him with Shakur. I think did Shakur drop Artem? Damn, I don't
No.
remember that. Okay, so it was Frank Martin that dropped it. I think Frank Martin dropped him in the last round or
Yeah.
something. Okay, I think that Keyshawn, I definitely think he has more skills. I think he's more sharp than Frank Martin. So I think that he might put you in spots or hit you with shots that will catch you between your shots better than Frank Martin. But I don't know about raw strength. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who has more power. But I'm not mad at anybody picking Keyshawn. But I get my point is that I'm like, okay, so Gustavo Limos, right? To me, in my opinion now, he destroyed Gustavo Limos. He looked great. But did Gustavo Limos look like he was in as good of shape as he was when he fought Richardson Hitchins to you?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I didn't really. No, I would say no, right?
Okay.
But at the same time, he was way heavier.
He was heavier.
Right.
Yep.
And what do we always say? Size is an important thing, right? With the power, the power has to translate.
Yep.
And if his power translates to somebody who's 154,
right?
Shit, that's good enough for me.
But that's true. But my question, okay, so the reason why I asked that is because I do think that size matters, as far as being bigger. But my point with Gustavo Limos is that I feel like he might have did that because at first I thought he was doing it strategically. I was like, man, that joke is trash. I still think it's trash because it shows that you're undisciplined. But I really think it's more so he was just undisciplined. I don't think he was in good shape. That's what I could be wrong, but that's what it gave off when I watched him fight. I feel like the Richardson Hitchins fight was a much better demonstration of Gustavo Limos. That's not to take away Keyshawn, but it's just to reinforce that I'm not sure. Like, as far as him doing what he's supposed to do and looking, he's exceeding expectations. Like, he's looking spectacular, but it's still, I don't know who he has looked great against that gives me confidence that he's ready for not even just a Tank, Shakur too, or Loma. I know him and Shakur won't fight, but Jose Pedraza, he looked great, but Jose Pedraza, I think, was on a 3-fight losing streak. No, he might have been on 2-fight losing streak, and he had a draw, and then he got knocked out by Keyshawn, and then he got knocked out by Ernesto Mercado. So, and Jose Pedraza is a guy that you already know. Tank beat him when he was undefeated. And then his next win after that was Miguel Madueno, which I thought that was a great win. But then I think the people that aren't really paying attention will look at that and say, "Oh, Miguel Madueno, well, he just got stopped by Oscar Duarte," but they don't realize it was short notice. So that's why I still think that was Keyshawn's. That was a very impressive win. It wasn't impressive fashion because he didn't stop him, but I thought it was an impressive win because it showed that he could handle another style. Madueno is a tough style, rough style. And then who was his fight after that? Was it after Madueno?
Limos, right?
Limos, yeah, Limos. And then we already talked about that. And then Burincic, I felt like, and this is not to take away from him, I want to give him all the credit because I thought Keyshawn would win, but I thought he would win by decision. But I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what I was looking at or what I wasn't looking at. I didn't think that size differential was gonna be so big.
I told nigga. I told you months ago.
You did.
This was a walk in the park. For
you
Keyshawn.
told me, bro.
That shit was packed up.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
I was wrong.
That's the thing with Keyshawn. Like, I've been watching Keyshawn since maybe 2 years ago when he really first got on the scene with Top Rank. And I was like, damn, this motherfucker a beast. I'm scared of him and Shakur. But then I found out him and Shakur are cool. I was like, all right, cool, we good.
we good. Yeah, I agree. I think I just don't know. Like, cause okay, so I was watching the interview. I'm sure you might watch. Did you watch his interview with what's the dude's name? Ariel? I didn't finish it though. Yeah, Keyshawn, yeah, sorry.
No, I didn't get to watch it.
Okay, I didn't finish it though, but he was like he has about 2 more fights left. And he could just be speaking, I don't mean that he seriously means it, but he was saying he wants Cruz and Tank. And so
oh man, I'll love him and Cruz. Pause.
Yeah, me too though. Nah, I would. But the thing about that is I don't think he beats. I would say Loma maybe because I want to see how Loma looked coming off of his back injury, his medical extension.
I think he beats Loma.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure. But, yeah, I'm not. Think he stops Loma? I think I think that's his best shot.
Get hit.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Loma's there to get hit.
You're right.
So I don't think Loma obviously he's older, right?
Yeah.
He is a slick fighter, but he's a slick fighter on the inside, and so is Keyshawn. So I think it'll be a chess match, but I think that size and power difference and Keyshawn's investment in the body is gonna really, really, really either make Loma curl up and just not fight anymore, like he was doing against Teo.
Yep.
Or he gonna go out.
That's a good point. I'm kind of hesitant to go against Keyshawn now, but what I was gonna say is that I would still kind of lean towards the other champions in 2 fights. I think Keyshawn is gonna still continue to progress, but I just don't see him beating. Not like I said, Shakur and him aren't happening, but I don't see him beating Shakur or Tank in 2 fights. If that's really when he's gonna move up.
Not Shakur.
I don't think he
Not
beats
Shakur
anyone.
right now. Tank, he has a better chance at, because to me, like I said already, Tank starts slow. You give up 5 rounds early. I mean, good luck, right? If you're fighting a smart fighter,
Yeah.
it's like, it's different than when you fighting a Ryan Garcia. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or even a Rolly, because let's not forget, Tank was getting smoked by Rolly
Come on now.
until he cracked him. He was getting smoked.
He was losing. All right? He was down. I don't know if he get smoked, but all right.
Bro, Tank was under pressure.
He was under that pressure. I ain't
He
gonna lie.
just said it.
That's a fact.
He
That's a
just
fact. He
said
was
it.
under pressure. That's a fact. And Rolly hit hard. That's a fact. But see, and that's the thing. Like, I would like to see. I'm not saying that Rolly would be is the best benchmarker, best gauge for how good a fighter is, because he's not the best fighter. But I would like to see a Keyshawn versus like a Rolly, see how that would look, or like even like a Ryan. I would like to see how that would look, and that's why I just think with Keyshawn, a lot of it, and this was my rebuttal to Bud. It's like you said, you break it down. I don't have a problem with somebody saying that Keyshawn could beat Tank. I disagree, but I don't think it's off of merit. Because if you're gonna say that, oh, Keyshawn beats Tank, and they say, oh, because who has Tank fought? Well, bitch, who has Keyshawn fought? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, the only one that's off of merit is Shakur. Yeah, I disagree with that too. I think Tank beats Shakur, but to me, that's off of merit, off of what he's done, how he looked. To me, Keyshawn, I know it might sound nitpicky, but I think still a lot of us are going off of his potential. But he has looked good. Okay, so I guess my question is, let me see. He's a champion now, so it's definitely. Brinchick was a great win.
Yeah.
That's a great win.
You gotta.
But Abdullah Mason, right? Has Abdullah Mason, outside of getting dropped by Johan Vasquez, hasn't he looked pretty just as sharp as Keyshawn? It's like if we take 3 fights for the last 3 fights. But of course, like I said, outside of a championship though, I got to give him credit for a champion. Abdullah Mason has no championship fight
And opponents. I mean, Abdullah Mason has no opponents either.
Right. But okay. So his last. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. Keyshawn's last 3 is Medueno, Brinchick, and Pedraza or Lemos, right? Lemos. Oh, thank you, Lemos. Okay, so Abdullah Mason. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. Is he's about to fight Giovanni Cabrera, but who he just fight? He just fought Manuel Jaimes, Johan Vasquez, and I don't remember. It's Michael Hahn. Okay, Keyshawn's last 3.
And to me, Jaimes is his best.
Yeah,
best,
I agree.
like,
I agree. I'm tripping.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's what I'm like. That's not even.
Yeah, it's not fair. Yeah, that's not real.
Comparing Mason with Cruz or somebody like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because even Keyshawn Davis, his last 3, Lemos even fought a championship fight with not a championship fight, but he fought a good fight with Richardson Hitchins. So yeah, you're right.
Bro hasn't even gone. Has he even gone 10 rounds yet? Has he been in the 10-round fight?
No. But the reason why I was saying that, because Emmanuel Jaime just fought Rolly. That's what I was going to go with. I was saying that they're not too far apart. That's why I said that's a great win for him. Yeah, that was a good step up. Right. And then Johan Vasquez, he's a big hitter. He's not a beast. He loses a lot of his big fights, but he's a big hitter. So I was going to compare him with Miguel Medueno, but he doesn't have anything close to Berinchick. Yeah, he doesn't have anything close to Berinchick. But Michael Hahn is not close to Berinchick. Yeah, so definitely Keyshawn's better opponents, but. Because where I was gonna go was who won it. Like they both been looking spectacular. That's what I was gonna go. I was gonna say they both been looking spectacular against opponents that we don't really know. But Keyshawn definitely has a better opponents. So I'll take that back.
Just take the slice of the Keyshawn cake, man.
No, I definitely like him. I just think it's too much to think that he's gonna say that. Oh yeah, man, this guy is gonna win because Tank ain't fought nobody. Like, even with Keyshawn, I agree with you that he starts off slow. I don't think he'll start off slow against Keyshawn. I think that Keyshawn will force him in situations to where he's gonna fight back, and I think when he fights back, I think I ain't gonna lie, I think Keyshawn loses early. I think he loses like in 5. I think that's the type of fight he's gonna bring. I think he's gonna force him to fight like Frank Martin. Because I in my opinion, like I told you, I agree that Tank starts off slow. but I don't see it as a detriment. I always see it as him downloading intel and recognizing patterns and stuff like that. So I think the faster his opponent starts, the faster he'll start. So I think that it's kind of calculated slow start. I don't think it's just, oh, by happenstance, I just happen to, or even not even by happenstance, because I don't think it's like a habit, like it's habitual to where the fact is that he can't get out of it. I think it's just something that he does intentionally because he's gathering information, you know, on what to use later. So I think that if you force him to fight fast, I think he can. That's why I think that he beats Keyshawn. Now, I'm not even saying that just because it's 4 or 5 rounds, I think it's gonna be exciting. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. Like, I don't think it's going to be easier than Rolly. I don't think it's going to be easier than Ryan. It might happen faster, but I don't think it's going to be easier. I think it's going to be hot when it's hot. But I just think he's going to, his skills are going to be superior, and he's going to be able to, you know, counter faster, throw sharper punches. But yeah, Keyshawn definitely, like you said, that was a good point, man. He might be the strongest person. I don't know. I still think Frank Martin might be up there too, but I definitely think that Keyshawn has the better skills and sharper, so, and the precision, the accuracy. I think he just has a better overall boxing acumen than Frank Martin. Especially because Frank Martin started late, but I don't know if he's stronger.
Even top, I don't even think he's the top 3 strongest that Tank has fought.
You don't think who
Rolly is stronger?
Rolly is stronger. Yep.
Huh?
Yeah, I agree.
Rolly is stronger.
Yep, I agree.
And Tank's style of fight improved that, right?
I think Ryan might have a stronger one shot.
Ryan is stronger.
Yeah,
exactly,
as far as like one shot goes.
And it's an argument for Pitbull. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't even think that Frank Martin is in the top 3 of strongest opponents that Tank has faced.
I agree. But I was using Frank Martin because he was the last one, and I was saying that I don't think that, and we know he was getting hit in there too. But I'm saying that I didn't think that I was more so saying him, not to say that he was a strongest one puncher. I was saying him to say that I think that his power is comparable with his one-shot power is comparable with Keyshawn. That's why I use Frank Martin. Not to say that
I think Keyshawn is way more though.
Yeah, okay.
I think Keyshawn is comparable with the top 3 there that we just mentioned.
Really, as far as power, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think so. But I could be wrong. Let me see. And I know this is not really the fairest way, but let me look at the KO ratio. That's not always indicative either. But I just want to see. I just want to see Frank Martin. No, I want to see Frank Martin's.
Oh.
67%. Which is, I mean, then you gotta look at who they fought and stuff like that too. So let's look at Rolly's. I'm sure Rolly's is the highest, but I don't know. Keyshawn is 69%, so he's 2% higher than Frank Martin, and that's pretty good. And let's see Rolly Romero. His ass might be lower because his 81. Yeah, his is the highest. So yeah, but then you gotta factor in who they fight too and stuff like that. So. Caliber.
Yeah, because really.
Yeah, but you're right though. Keyshawn is higher. He's 2% higher than 2% higher than Frank. They both pretty good though. Both in the 60s, high 60s. 67 for Frank, 69 for Keyshawn, and then 81 for Rolly. As far as KO percentage. Can you keep that pressure on P? He gonna throw in the towel. Got Albright beat some heads out there. He'll be. Hey, what's the name? You hear Albright? Yeah, man, I like to see him bounce back as well. I agree, but Keyshawn, he won't be able to drain him because Keyshawn has amazing endurance. Tank gonna have Tank. Tank gonna have Tank him. Tank gonna have to tank him. He wins either way because of experience at 140. Yeah. I got Tank as well. Yeah, I got Tank. Oh, you got him at? You want him to fight at 140? I like that at 135.
Yeah, nah, they're not fighting at 140.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think at 140 is a bigger advantage for. I would still have Tank, but I think it's a bigger advantage for Keyshawn at 140.
Sure.
Doc got the encyclopedia early. What you talking about, bro? I was looking at the KO percentage. I don't know the KO percentage off the top of my head now. Come on now. I know I be where they do that. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. But yeah, I was more so saying that I think it's a I mean that's a fair assessment, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I think that Keyshawn is gonna bring the fight. I think he's gonna have to. I think that's the only way he wins, but I think it ends up bad for him. Soto too cool. That's crazy, bro.
I agree with whoever said that Tank is gonna have to knock him out because that's the path to victory for Tank is catching him slipping.
Yeah.
But if they go to the decision, I think Keyshawn takes it. By the slim error, it's gonna be like a 7-5 or 8-4, but he's gonna take it.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I just don't see it. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it by decision there.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm done. I was gonna say I don't see it by decision or I got it for Tank.
Yeah, I just don't see Tank, like he said, draining Keyshawn the same way he did to Frank Martin, right? Because Frank Martin, we know he was on his way out of that division regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see it. I think Keyshawn is in such great shape right now at this point in his career, and he's working under Omac, who we know his fighters are always in shape.
Yep.
Even though he not.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. That's good. Bomac be on them Cheetos, man. Cheeto pack. Keyshawn can't all box Tank, dude. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't think so either. But no, go ahead, finish, Kendrick. I don't think so either, Mike. I don't know.
And I think that's what, and even Frank said it. He said that's what changed the fight. Is him starting to lose his legs, him starting to get tired.
Yes. Yep. I think mentally draining, even more so.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's definitely a combination of that.
Yep.
And I don't think Tank is going to be able to just sit there and stomp the whole time while Keyshawn runs around. I think Keyshawn's going to meet him in the middle, but with that distance that is going to be right outside of Tank's range. And that's going to be where Keyshawn has to win the fight, is that outside sort of fight.
And that's the thing. I don't see him being able to accomplish that. I think like you said with Tank being so smaller, I think he makes it work in his favor. You know, the fact that he's so compact and, you know, like a I'm not saying he's gonna do him like he did Santa Cruz, but something like a Leo Santa Cruz fight where they're on the inside and that uppercut or whatever punch he decides to throw is just sharp and it's just compact and it's tight, man, and it's quick. I don't know, bro. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I don't think Keyshawn has no disrespect. I just don't think that. Maybe I think it's more so. It's not that I'm underestimating Keyshawn. I think it's just that I think that Tank is just that much better in those regards. But I could be wrong though, you know. Orion says, I want to see who? Oh, Keyshawn and Devin Haney. He said David Haney. Devin Haney. Nah. Devin Haney going to 147, bro. Keyshawn at 135. Yeah. He just got a title.
It would have been a great fight.
Yeah, it would have been a good fight. Yeah, that's a good fight. If they're in the same, but they're two weight classes apart. Years of training, but does probably have 4 burgers daily. Who has years of training but 4 burgers daily? That's crazy. If Keyshawn fights Tank and wins P, if Keyshawn fights Tank and wins, you think P gonna backtrack like Stephen A? That's crazy. Nah, if he beats, if anybody, I'll tell you, if Shakur beats Tank, all the credit, because I think they're the ones that beat each other. Same with Benavidez. Benavidez beat Canelo, all the credit. Beterbiev beat Bivol, all the credit, bro. Can't take away nothing. Even with Berinchik, I give Keyshawn Davis credit. I just still think I thought Berinchik was gonna be more formidable. But I also give Keyshawn all the credit. That's his first title fight, undefeated fighter. I can't knock him. But at the same time, I don't think that was enough to make me think he's going to beat Tank or Shakur. Like I said, the Shakur doesn't need to be said because that's not going to happen. But still, I still don't. Hypothetically, if it did, I think that's a good fight, like Kendrick said. But I think Shakur beats him. I'm telling y'all, Key versus Tank will look similar to Barrios versus Tank. Yeah, I think that the only reason why I just think that Keyshawn is much better, you know, as far as like like styles make fights, bro. Like so styles make fights. So even like I say, even if Tank beats Keyshawn faster than Barrios, I don't think that's indicative of Keyshawn not being better or as good as Barrios. It's just stylistically, like I said, I just don't see Keyshawn. Like, man, I just don't see it, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, does he use his jab that well to where he gonna outbox Tank and keep him at a range that he can't get him like that? I don't see that. Like, I could see Richardson Hitchins potentially doing that, but I don't think he's strong enough to do that either. But I think his style is more conducive with doing that than Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn wants to fight and mix it up. So, but like you said, if he could get to Tank faster, like, and if he pops him, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe he never hasn't got hit by, let's say he got hit by Ryan and Rolly. Well, we know they're not precise punchers. You know, I mean, that left hook comes fast and if it hits you, you know, it could hurt you. But Keyshawn is throwing combinations like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's an argument there. They might not be a strong one shot as Rolly and Ryan, but he definitely throws better combinations, and they probably all come with power. So that's a good point. You know, I just don't see. I don't know. I don't even know if he does that better than Tank. So I just don't see it. But just because I don't see it, don't mean shit. I didn't see Keyshawn running through Chick like that. And look what happened. I didn't see Bakram running through Tim Zoo like that. Look what happened. So.
And one thing I will say is that Keyshawn's defense is highly underrated. Remember, that man got hit with 7 punches that whole fight.
Yeah, Dennis Perry, because he probably only threw 9.
Nah, Dennis was throwing. He just was missing everything.
Man, I don't know what Dennis was doing, man. But you're right. Yeah, he was throwing. That man was looking bad.
Very underrated.
Yeah, and I agree. Yep, and that's him. I'm not gonna act like that. I'm giving that to Keyshawn. Yeah, whatever, however bad Dennis looked, I'm giving that to Keyshawn. It's because Keyshawn. It's because he was fighting. Because he definitely looked better against Navarrete.
Yeah, but I said he was tagging Navarrete perfectly fine. Because Navarrete is just sitting there swinging away.
Yep.
But which wasn't an impressive victory to me. I wasn't impressed by the victory. The fight looked disgusting to me. I didn't like the fight.
Yeah, you did say that. I was impressed. Yeah, but I was also disappointed in Navarrete too, though.
Yeah, but I think Keyshawn's defense, even in the fight, was it Dueno?
Medueno, yep, Miguel Medueno, yep.
Medueno, yeah. Even in that fight, Keyshawn's defense was really, really great to the point where it frustrated Medueno, where he just started body slamming him and trying to flip him.
That's true. That's true. No, that's a good point.
Keyshawn's defense is highly underrated.
That's a good point.
I think Tank is gonna have a hard time trapping him, like he traps everybody else.
Yeah. I just don't see the footwork there for him to have a hard time. But man,
Keyshawn's footwork?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to get away from Keyshawn like that. I mean,
Tank.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not. I don't think it's about getting away from Tank. I think it's about staying right outside the range of Tank and staying within his range, which I think he's able to do, especially with that camp that he's in.
Yeah.
I mean, who else better? Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
There's no other camp that's better at that than that camp. Now, what about Keon Davis? Let's talk about Keon.
I'm not. Oh, Keon, the youngest one. Yeah, I actually like him. The other one, I'm not really sold on.
Not Kelvin.
Yeah. Okay. My fault. Yep.
Keon got some pop, bro. He's throwing with bad intentions.
Yeah, I like him.
He's skinny as hell.
Yep, I like him. Them long loopy punches too. That work. That he gets a freaking torque on those punches. He said, "Yeah, I agree." I agree. Tank's heist is advantage. Gamboa made it 12 with Tank. Man, Gamboa good though, man. Doc 0 at 32. That's crazy, man. Gamboa ain't good. Terence Crawford is the one that beat him first. Gamboa was Tank Gamboa's third loss or second.
That
loss?
was pretty much the equivalent of Keyshawn and Pedraza. Like,
right? Yeah, exactly. I ain't gonna knock him. I ain't gonna knock him for going to. I mean, but he did stop him though. He stopped him in the 12th. It wasn't a decision. Remember, he stopped him. He just stopped him in the 12th. He said, but yeah, I think that what'd you say, kid? You said something I wanted to say.
I'm talking about Keon.
Yeah, Keon. Yeah. I like Keon, man. We got the other one coming back on Pro Box next month, I believe. Yeah, March. The Calvin. But yeah, I like him, man. He looks promising. I still think that Keyshawn's the best out of the three, though. I think he has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, we gotta see.
Oh yeah, you think Keon will be? I think Keyshawn has a high ceiling. I could be wrong.
I think if Keon keeps doing what he's doing, because honestly, he hasn't had that much fights yet, but I think he could end up on that Abdullah Mason kind of track.
Yeah, hopefully they do put him on. I mean, he's a top rank too, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah, so that'd be I think that'd definitely benefit him, man, to be on that Abdullah Mason type. Bro, Abdullah Mason has a fight already, bro. He's fighting Giovanni Cabrera April 5th. This man don't miss a meal, boy. Gosh, Lee. Every card Abdullah Mason on, man. It shot it up. I think a lot of fighters would benefit off of a track like that. Shoot, especially if
it's very old school, so
yeah. So I think he's just developing, getting better, and obviously he stays in the gym. I mean, that's what he's staying active. So yeah, man, I think Abdullah Mason gonna be a problem.
He ain't getting no rounds.
Nope. Yeah, the facts. And he's fighting Giovanni Cabrera too, so that's a good fight. Remember, a lot of people thought Giovanni Cabrera beat Isak Pitbull Cruz. A lot of people thought he beat him, and then I mean he looked bad against see, okay, that's a good one. Like Limo. Sorry to go back to the Keyshawn thing, but to me that's what Limo's look like. Remember, Cabrera came in overweight against Zepeda, and it just didn't look good. You know what I'm saying? It looked like an out of shape overweight. You know, it's that's why I was like, yeah, he's bigger, but was it a good bigger? Like, did he use it to his advantage? I feel like it was to his own detriment, similar to Gustavo Limos against Keyshawn. But yeah, he's fighting Giovanni Cabrera, who just I don't think he fought since he got stopped by Zepeda. I'm not sure. Mason fought yesterday. P was like, yeah, you feel me? He fighting tomorrow too. That's crazy. That boy getting it in, man. Shout out to him. Tank punched Gamboa out his ankle. He said, but Keyshawn also capable of bullying and just being smart, locking up Tank with a Ray Smothers. Yeah, but I agree with Mike, man. I think Gervonta's height is his advantage, and like you said, his explosiveness too. You know, I think that it would help Pitbull as well. It does help Pitbull and Nick Ball as well. It's just they're just not as sharp as Tank or even as strong as Tank as far as one shot power. So but yeah, I think usually the shorter guys. Not always at an advantage, because if you fight somebody like Hitchins or somebody like that keep you at the end of the jab, then nah. You know, look what Ryo did to Pitbull. So it's not always an advantage. I just don't know if Keyshawn can make it. I think Shakur could make it to his advantage against Tank. That's why that fight's so interesting. I don't think Keyshawn could. I don't think he can accomplish it. But like I said, hopefully we get to see it, man. 2 fights, he said. If we're gonna hold him to it, 2 fights. At 135 before he moves to 140, so hopefully we'll see it in 2 fights, man. If him and Tank can make it, but I'd still prefer Tank and Shakur if I had to choose. If he's fighting one of them, I'm picking Shakur. In my opinion, that's what I'd rather see. Tank will. I mean, anybody. You know, I like unification. So I would like to see Tank versus Loma, Tank versus Shakur, or Tank versus Keyshawn. But if I could pick one, if I could only pick one, it would be Tank and Shakur. Hell, and then Loma and Keyshawn, and then the winner of each meet up for undisputed. That'd be fire. That's not going to happen, but that'd be fire. 3 opponents in a row with Tank size, but 3 different styles of fighting. Who had 3 opponents in a row with Tank size? Tank can reflect all them styles in one package with the sharper, heavier shots and better IQ. I agree. Frank is southpaw like Tank has quick feet. Yeah, I think, Frank Martin, he's an athlete, right? He's athletic. Former, football player. He just picked up boxing late. He just picked up boxing late.
I don't mean that. Keyshawn was training against Southpaw in Capricorn. So.
Yeah. Shout out to Keyshawn, man. We're gonna see who his next opponent is, man. Hopefully it is I don't think it's gonna be anybody notable. I think his first defense, I think, is gonna be something like Brian Norman fighting Derek Cuevas, like a top 10 ranked guy, but nobody that's like super and it shouldn't be. I think that's good. I'm not saying that it should be. I think his first defense shouldn't be a unification. I mean, not to me. I don't think it should be. That'd be cool. Say it again. You kind of skipped out.
It should be against Zepeda. Zepeda.
Punk ass. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he too scared to fight.
Come on, man. Yeah, right. Zepeda fighting the champion? Yeah, right. Boy, that boy's Zepeda, bro. This man was a mandatory in all 4 sanctioned bodies. Ain't fighting Nanch. How you duck all 4 champs? Come on, bro. As a mandatory. But then people wanted to say Richardson Hitchins was ducking Super Matias. Because he was a mandatory, he was a champion. But ain't nobody saying was a pay to ducking the champions. Come on, bro.
Wait, was it true that Tank was quiet on Twitter this weekend?
I don't know. I didn't really see anything. But remember, I wasn't really paying attention too much. I was more so this weekend. I was kind of out of it with my dog and stuff, man.
Facts.
Yeah, but I wasn't really. I don't know. I didn't notice anything, nothing too crazy. So maybe he was quiet.
That's a rare thing.
Yep.
You always got something to say.
Yep. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and call them. I gotta take care of some stuff at 11 o'clock. So I got 20 minutes. So I don't think Key would stop. Bro, that's a good fight, man. I think Keyshawn and Frank. I think that's a good fight, man. I don't think he gets stopped either. But I just don't know. The big question mark for me is that how is Frank looking after his first loss. Remember, his first loss, that's always tough. It's always something to see when a fighter bounces back from the first loss, especially a first loss by knockout. That's why the question marks are there for even a great like Errol Spence. The question marks are still there, you know. So with Frank, I think he's gonna bounce back and look good, but I still think we have to see. But yeah, I don't think I think the Frank Martin that fought Tank and before that, you know, I think him and Keyshawn's a good fight. And remember they were talking about fighting, and you know, it just didn't materialize. I don't think anybody was ducking. It's just that it just didn't make sense at the time. But remember they had the little face off and confronted each other and stuff. Charlo brothers related or retired? Why did I relate? I'm about to say, bro, you trolling. Retired? Nah, I don't think they're fully retired. So like Charlo brothers related. What? Nah, they're not retired, not officially. If anybody, it'd be Jamal, but nah, there's talks about them coming back. Question is Spence, nah, you wildin'. Me question, bro, you got it, bro. You don't know how he's gonna bounce back, man. It's always a question mark. I hope he bounces back, but you saw that fight. What you mean?
Spence ain't coming back. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back either at this point, but
Is
yeah,
he 35
man.
now? How old is he?
I don't know. That's a good question. I want to say 30. He's not. You said 35. I don't think so. I think he's like 32, 33. I don't know.
I didn't know he was that much younger.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, no, he's 34. 34. So right in the middle.
Okay. So he turned 35 this year, probably.
Yep. Yeah, born 90. Yep, 1990. Yes, he turned 35. So you're right. You're closer. May. It says May.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was like 33. Okay.
Yeah, because he fucking stopped in time. He stuck in time in 2022.
Right, yeah, facts.
2023, he stuck.
Facts. Yep. Kendrick, Orion asked Kendrick, who you got, Rolly or Ryan Garcia?
Rolly or Ryan Garcia? Right now, I guess Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I got Ryan Garcia as well. I'm rooting for Rolly, though. I got Ryan. It was Crawford, though, bro. Cut him some slack. Yeah. I didn't say it was a bad loss. I just said, I'm saying it's your first loss, bro. It don't matter who it is. You know, it's your first loss and you get stopped like that. I'm not saying that's a bad loss. Bro, I told you, if Errol Spence was still active, he would be on my pound for pound list still. He would definitely be top 10. I don't knock somebody that much. Huh?
Who was that? Who said that?
Clone. Talking about cutting some slack. You know I give him slack. Bro, Tyson Fury is arguably still on my pound for pound list. His only losses came to the top guys. Usyk, and Terence Crawford are Fury and Errol Spence's only losses. There's no shame in that. It's just that they're inactive, and Tyson Fury, well, he said he's retired, and Errol Spence hasn't fought since. But I've always had that same question mark, man, for everybody. You take that first L, man, it might change you. Especially when you get devastated how Errol Spence got devastated. So, you know, and hell, never know. That's why I think it's amazing when we see guys like that take their first L or have multiple L's and come back stronger. It's amazing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Seeing like Canelo and who else that took L's and come back stronger, you know? It's always impressive for me to see that. Because not everybody does. A lot of people take that first L and they're never the same. You know, Caleb Plant to the L's, he had a good performance. Nobody really knows Trevor McCumbee like that, but that was still a good, you know, his bounce back tour. And boxing ain't easy, man. Unforgiving sport,
real quick.
Man. Jamel Charlo, when he lost to Tony Harrison, came back and beat him. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, man, we talked about this a little bit, but yo, that knockdown was some bullshit, man.
Oh yeah, talking Catterall or
knockdown was some bullshit. Yeah, the Catterall. Because my thing is, like I said before,
yeah,
I'll accept the fact that that's not a knockdown as long as we can accept the fact that Benavidez is not a knockdown.
I agree.
And
I agree with you. I think
this
Catterall
man,
more
like,
knockdown.
Catterall cracked him. That was a clean
Right in the stomach.
To the gut.
Yep.
Yeah. Pushed him back. He fell in the same direction and everything. It wasn't nothing different.
Yep, I agree. He didn't fall to the side, nothing. I called it a knockdown.
I could have sworn it was a knockdown. And then I'm listening to the scorecards. I'm like, wait, what happened?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Then they called it a knockdown. So I'm with you on that. Even though we disagree on the Morrell and Benavidez, I think Morrell was a knockdown too. But I agree. If the one that was a more convincing knockdown was definitely Catterall and Barbosa, and that's the one that didn't count. So I agree with you 1,000%. I just think that they're both knockdowns.
That's my problem.
Yeah, I think
that's my problem with boxing.
Yeah, I agree. It's just the ref, man. You know, hey, bang bang plays, man. I ain't too mad, but I do think that Catterall was more of a knockdown than Morrell on Benavidez. I do think that they're both knockdowns. But shit, man, I got to slide, man. I got to go. Got this appointment at 12, man. I appreciate you pulling up, though, Kendrick. Shout out to you, bro. Yes, sir. God bless, man. Shout out to my boy Kendrick, man. My guy Kendrick came through, man. Shout out to everybody that came through, man. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. I got to go slide, man. I got an appointment that I have to take care of, unfortunately. You feel me? But yeah, man, I'll be back on later, man. Thank y'all for pulling up, man. Don't forget to smack that like button, you feel me? But most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. Shout out for the love in the super chat, man. Shout out to Candy Slim 501 for the $2. Shout out to George the Last Patriot for the $2. Appreciate it. Keep us going and growing. If you haven't done so already, please consider becoming a member for less than $3 a month. You know, well, it's $3 a month. That's less than 10 cents a day. You know what I'm saying? Become a member, man. Help the channel keep going and growing. We get the hustle off the muscle, man. We don't be politicking on other channels. You know what I'm saying? If we rock with the channel, we rock with the channel. We you know what I'm saying? We rapping and establish fellowship naturally, though, man. We don't try to ride the coattails of another channel, and you know what I'm saying, or nothing like that. We get the hustle out the muscle, man. We get it right out the mud. So it may take a little longer, but we gonna be a lot stronger. You feel me? So I appreciate y'all rocking with me from the beginning, from day one, and rocking with me till now, man. We have a long way to go, but we down for the grind. You know what I'm talking about? Champy, oh Lord, what Champy got to say? Benavidez was not a knockdown. Come on, bro, that was clear as day. Really? You don't think it was? A clear knockdown was when Bud got dropped by me, machine. That's great. Yo, okay. Hey, Champy, get out, bro. Get out, Champy. Get out, bro. This man Champy, a hater, bro. This man Champy is a hater, bro. I thought they were both clear knockdowns, man. When I say clear knockdowns, I'm talking about, to me, yes, he did trip. I'm not saying that the trip wasn't there. I'm saying that when you punch somebody, if you take out the punch, do they still fall? I think if the punch from Morrell was removed out of the situation, I don't think Benavidez would have fell. If Catterall removed that punch from Barbosa, I don't think he would have fell. So because the punch, like, that's the thing. In my opinion, it's a misconception that a punch, in order to knock you down, has to hurt you. You don't have to be hurt to get knocked down. It just has to be that the punch was instrumental to you touching the canvas. It doesn't mean that you have to be hurt, or you have to be decapitated, or you have to be knocked out. It just means that, you know, my punch persuaded you to fall. And yes, there was a tangle of the feet. That's why I'm not mad at it. If the referee, was it Thomas Taylor, if he would have said that Morrell was no knockdown on Benavidez, I'm cool. Because it's up to the discretion of the ref, bro. We watch a lot of boxing, right? We see knockdowns that were legitimate knockdowns not get called knockdowns. And we see knockdowns that were actually slips called knockdowns. Remember with Trevor McCumbee, right? Trevor McCumbee punched Caleb Plant like in the shoulder, or like in the arm, and he went flying across the ring. And he said it wasn't a knockdown, but the ref called it a knockdown. It's a knockdown. Caleb Plant wasn't hurt. He was just off balance. But if a punch helps you get off balance, that's a knockdown, bro. That's just how it is, you know what I'm saying? So I do agree with Kendrick that Catterall was more definitive. To me, that would look like more of a legitimate knockdown than Barbosa than Morrell on Benavidez, but I thought they were both knockdowns, you know? Only one was called, though, so it is what it is. He hit him on the arm and tripped Doc. That's what I'm saying, bro. But I don't, bro. Okay, so remember go check out the video, man. I literally showed the Caleb Plant and Trevor McCumbee. Did Trevor McCumbee not hit him on the arm and Caleb Plant lost his balance? That was called a knockdown, bro. So I'm not saying that he wasn't tripped. They both existed. They don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? Their feet clashed. His foot was crossed with his foot, and he got hit at the same time as he was also throwing a punch. We're talking about Benavidez now. Benavidez was throwing a punch. Morrell hit him in the shoulder, and their feet were tangled up. That's what made him fall. But if you take the punch out that equation, I don't think Benavidez falls. So to me, that's a knockdown. You know what I'm saying? Now, does that mean that he was hurt or he was dazed? No, I'm not saying that. It was an off-balance knockdown, but off-balance knockdowns are knockdowns. It wasn't in the scoring area. You're tripping. You can get hit in the arm. Bro, I just gave you the Caleb Plant example. What you mean a scoring area? Your whole body's a scoring area, bro. What you mean? Nah, if you punch somebody in the gloves, if your gloves clash, then no, that's not a score. But if I punch you in your arm, those count. What you mean? Those are I'll put you here, I'll put you here, I'll put you here, I'll put you here. It's not as devastating as your chin, but that counts. What you mean? Yeah, flash knockdowns exist, and that's why Morrell didn't get hype at a crucial part in the fight because he knew as well. Nah, I disagree with that. Pulling up, yeah, I should be pulling up on the late show. I was supposed to pull up for the late show yesterday, but I was real busy, man, and my dog. It's crazy, bro. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I was supposed to pull up yesterday. I didn't do the late show yesterday. I apologize, but I will be pulling up for the late show today. Good Lord willing, man. So y'all be easy, take care of yourselves. Shout out to my boy Oscar dropping that graffiti on the chat walls right before we leave, man, with that bread, that cheese, that butter. Got a phone meeting. All right, so agreed. That was not. Thank you, Orion. See, even me and Orion agree. He called me a hater, bro, and he agreed with me. Thank you, Orion. Thank you, bro. Morrell was raw. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I thought it was. I'm not mad at Benavidez win. That was a close fight to me. I think I have to look at my scorecards. I'll check it out, but I think I had Morrell winning, slightly edging it out, but I wasn't mad because there was some close rounds there. I'm not mad at Benavidez. To me, that was a very close fight. It was a fight of the year. I'm not mad at Benavidez winning. Both of them deserve the win to me, but I can see how it's kind of more justified to see it for Benavidez. I'm not mad at that, but I definitely think that was a knockdown though. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man. God bless, champion. You gotta come through more often, man. Doesn't have to be a scoring in the scoring area. If you're punching, yeah, exactly. That's why I showed the Caleb Plant one. Exactly. Talk to him, pugilism. It doesn't have to be like in your. Now, granted, it's less likely that you're gonna. If you punch somebody in the arm, it's less likely you're gonna score, and it's less likely you're gonna knock him down and be counted as a significant punch. But no, that counts, bro. You know, you just can't hit somebody in the groin or the thigh. You know, but if I put you here. I'll put you here and you fall. Oh, man, that's a knockdown, bro. But yeah, man, I'm out, man. I appreciate y'all rocking, man. Don't forget to smack that like button. But most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we are nothing, man. Smack that like button for your boy. You feel me? Peace. Go check out the last videos as well.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.
These biscuits